ProView Networks.
A long weekend. The other thing we learned this weekend, starting on Friday, no lead is safe. Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck, DC, how you living?
Oh, what it do?
How was the weekend?
Good weekend.
Well,
great weekend.
It's good to see. I met Mrs. DC in DeCito the other day. There's a little DC and there's a Mrs. DC. I heard about this all the time, and it's like, whoa, there actually is one.
They exist. It is true.
You guys have a good time at Fiesta?
It was fantastic.
How'd Jack do? Did he love going out there running around?
So we thought we were going to go see a couple balloons and kind of come back, hang out. He wanted to go to every single one and get these little trading cards.
Yeah, buddy.
Oh, my goodness. I thought, like I said, a couple. We ended up going, feels like a mile down.
It's insane, right?
It is insane. It was so much fun, though. I mean, they do a great job out there.
Yeah, he looked like he was having a good time. No, it was good. It was a good time Friday night. The weather was ideal. Weather was ideal, for the Lobo game, for the Ring of Fire. Did you guys do the eclipse?
Did catch the eclipse?
It was everything they said it was going to be.
Yeah, that was awesome. I had never seen anything like that.
It was awesome. Like I didn't think I was that into that kind of stuff, and we were out back and just staring at it and popped in, watched some football, went back out. Whoa, yeah, it was really cool. All right, a lot to do today. Danny Gonzalez is scheduled to be with us coming up at 8 o'clock this morning after a 52-24 Lobo loss on Saturday out at University Stadium, a game in which they were winning at halftime 17-14. And then the bottom fell out. It was a rough second half, and I know we're going to get into that. We'll talk a lot of NFL, get you biggest winners and losers of the weekend, which this will be an interesting version. There's a couple of places, and I'm not even sure where to start with this one. Yeah, the Cowboys play tonight, the Broncos played on Thursday, so we don't have the super local interest. And so I'm going to start at the very top with the Niners and the Eagles, right? And you had told me look, this isn't I'm a right, you're a wrong thing. I just didn't believe the Niners were going to get undefeated until they played the Eagles. Somebody's going to clip them, right? It's the National Football League, and somebody's going to clip them. I just didn't think it was going to be the Browns and a backup quarterback this weekend.
This game is a lot of fun to break down because of the conversation around it. It's fascinating when you look at San Francisco because a lot of times, and it's happened with the Cowboys a bit, they're like, well, how good are they really? They beat all these bad teams. Well, San Francisco, this was the first good defense they played, and they did not look like a good offense.
So
but Brock Purdy in this, for as average as he was, he drove his team down the field.
Yeah.
And they were in position to kick a game-winning field.
And that's where I want this to kind of steer, and it may steer somewhere else on this. Okay, because I know I was big on Brock Purdy last week, and I will remain big on Brock Purdy, and he had a subpar game. He actually threw an interception. He only threw for 125 yards. He lost midway through the game Christian McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel. And so you're going to tell me, well, see, Jeff, he's human. Yeah, no, I know he's human, man. I never said he was Clark Kent. Okay, I still would put him where I'm not knocking him down on the tiers, and I know I took some hits last week. We're saying, hey, dude, when are we putting this guy in the top quarterback tier? And then he goes out and loses. What you said has got to not be lost in this conversation. We're gonna have this conversation about Mac Jones later too, where Mac Jones putting that ball in the hands of Devontae Parker, catch the freaking ball. You can't win a game by yourself in this league, and quarterbacks get win-loss records. Right? And so quarterbacks get way more blame and credit, and I get it. What you just said, he did his job on that last drive. He drove his team down the field and put them in position to win with a 41-yard field goal, and Jake Moody pushed it right. And if Jake Moody makes that field goal, the conversation is, yeah, but when it mattered, because this is what we all wanted to see, right? We wanted to see Brock Purdy in a situation where he was playing from behind because we've not seen it. On the road, go win a football game, young man. And with all due respect, they didn't win. And I don't, look, again, there's a part of me that really enjoyed seeing the Niners lose, okay? But he did his job, got him in a position to win the football game.
And now, if, say, Christian McCaffrey needs to miss the game, with an oblique injury. Deebo Samuel misses a game. You see, does Brock Purdy have the ability to elevate players in that offense? Because against a really good defense, he looked very average overall in that game. 12 of 27. George Kittle, Cleveland took him out. So that's the next step, is then you could see something else from a San Francisco team going into next week, seeing a little bit of an evolution of Brock Purdy. Things weren't great, but yet he still was able to get his team in position to win. It was an ugly game down the stretch. The penalties, questionable calls, but then Cleveland goes down, kicks a field goal. Their field goal kicker goes 4 or 5, while San Francisco goes 1 of 3. The rookie kicker misses it at the end. But that is going to be what you just kind of described, the story of this week. Because the first adversity that he faced, a lot of people are just going to see what happened and not how it happened.
Hey, what's 19 plus 17? Is it 36? Look at you, man. You're living on the hook. The over-under in that game was 35.5. It's insane. I don't know. Do you feel differently about Brock Purdy after that game? I mean, he's human and had a rough game on the road against a good defense. By the way, Cleveland's defense, if I'm not mistaken, has given up the least amount of points of anybody in the National Football League. Is that correct? Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah, but don't say that now when everyone was picking San Francisco.
No, I know.
9.5.
I was on him at 9.5. No, 100% I was on him at 9.5. I'm not sitting here and telling you I told you so.
This is one where I don't.
I swung and missed big.
Yeah, I don't all of a sudden feel that this means that Brock Purdy is who most people thought he was, and he's not just that good as everyone else.
Yeah,
I think it's a chance to see what he is facing, a little adversity coming off a loss and potentially down a player that changed everything for that franchise last year.
But that was my point on the last drive. I wanted to see a little adversity. Right here, he was on the road. His team was down a minute 41 or whatever it was to go. What's the young man going to do? And my only point is the young man did what Brady in Montana and Elway pick your quarterback. This is what when you go back and look at how many comeback wins did they have? Well, it did. A lot of them were that. Many of them were get it into field goal range and let your kicker do his job, right? Or as Peyton Manning likes to say, the idiot kicker, right? The idiot kicker pushes it right. I love talking to John Sullivan about the damn kickers, right? The former Global All-America kicker.
Yesterday was not a good day for field goal kickers.
No.
Feels like it was a very low percentage day.
Yeah, I know how much you love kickers, right? You took kickers out of your fantasy league, didn't you?
Yes, we did.
Yeah, you just don't like the kickers. I'm relying on my kicker tonight, by the way. It's all about the kicker. All right, then the other one, the Eagles. And the Bills almost went down last night. I mean, I thought the Bills were going down. The Jets defense. So teams that are offensively challenged, the Browns and the Jets are doing it with defense. And to watch what the Jets did and harassed Jalen Hurts and force him into 3 interceptions. And interceptions in key situations. Again, I'm not going to tell you Jalen Hurts isn't what you think he is. He is. He had a bad day and threw some bad balls. But the Jets' defense is what you thought it was. And by the way, the Jets are 3-3 without Aaron Rodgers. Now they got the Giants and the Chargers and the Raiders coming up. They beat the Bills. They beat the Eagles. Are the Jets a playoff contender?
They're nipping at the heels of the wild card. Play defense like that without your top 2 cornerbacks, and you can make Jalen Hurts probably have the worst game of his season with the 3 interceptions, a late interception that changed the tide of that game, giving the Jets an opportunity. And this is the game plan for the Jets. Once Aaron Rodgers went down, they were hoping to lean on that defense, just not have Zach Wilson make mistakes, and he didn't. He did not throw an interception yesterday. And just somehow, some way, find yourself in a football game, and that's exactly what happened yesterday.
All right, 505-246-0610. We're going to go through the NFL. We're going to hit pretty much every game. There was some college stuff over the weekend starting on Friday. I did. I'm not going to lie to you. After I saw you and Dicito, is it all right if I call him Dicito?
I love that, actually. That's hilarious.
And I went home. I might have poured a nice bourbon. Was watching some football. They were up 29-0. I watched the beginning of the second half. Addie was giving her buddy that wants to go to Stanford a hard time about them getting waxed. Fell asleep. Woke up. My father, there were all these messages on my phone. I'm like, wait, what? I thought I read the score wrong when I looked at the phone. They lose 46-43 in overtime. Broncos, how about Colorado State, what they did to Boise State? Did you see the Hail Mary at the end of that game? I still don't know how he caught the ball, by the way. The Colorado State came back.
What a play.
They were down 30-10 and beat Boise State. There were some crazy, crazy comebacks. I don't know if I call San Jose State's a comeback. Lobos were up at halftime. The score was 17-14. And then JJ was at 38 points in a row that San Jose State scored. I believe it to be 38 in a row. And the Lobos lose 52-24. I know that, Art, you want to talk about that. The number's 505-246-0610. Good morning, Art. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you, Jeff?
Good, Art. What's happening?
Well, not too much. I was just watching a game, listening to you and George about your comments, and then listening to the coach after the game. And what I saw, that was just, he had a time off to kind of recoup and get better, but they can't tackle. These guys are not coached well. Why we always fair catching everything when you had potential? One kid was supposed to be the leading returner in the Mountain West. You're not using your tools correctly, but I just think this is a safety gig for Mr. Gonzalez. He hasn't shown anything. And yeah, maybe we're not getting the best kids out of the portal, but come on, man. You can't tackle and you just let him get 38 points. I'm tired of hearing excuses from this guy. Either get your coaches and tell them, coach, or Nunez, find the right guy and quit just screwing yourself all the time. That's all I got to say. Thank you, Jeff.
All right, Art. Thanks. There's a lot of frustration around this, right? And what was the stat you said on the post-game show? When was the last time they won a home league game? Because I got somebody sent me a text that I was listening to JJ on the post-game show and said the last time they won a home league game was it 2017?
Yes, in the University Stadium.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So a home
Not
game
a neutral site game
in Vegas. Yeah, during COVID.
In Vegas. So the last conference win for the Lobos was October 23rd, 2021,
Okay.
at Wyoming, and the last home win was September 30th, 2017. They beat Air Force 56-38.
In University Stadium in 2017. Yeah, it's been a minute, man, and I understand the frustration. And yeah, I mean, I saw George's frustration as we would go to commercial break. We got a lot to talk about with that, and I know you've got a lot to say. We're gonna talk to Danny at 8:00. There was not a lot good coming out of that game, and at halftime, I don't know how you felt. Didn't see you at halftime. But I went downstairs, down to that media and suite level. There were a lot of people bouncing around, feeling pretty good about themselves. And, boy, it was a different feel afterwards. If you're there, I got to take this break. 505-246-0610. Happy to take your phone calls after that. 505-246-0610. That's the text line and the phone line. Emails Jeff at sportsanimalabq.com, JJ at sportsanimalabq.com. We'll get into a little bit of football and the 52-24 loss to San Jose State. Kyrie Robinson goes for 4 touchdowns for San Jose State. That's next. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610. The Sports Animal, your home for Sunday night and Thursday night, and even tonight, football.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
We here at Clark's Pet Emporium welcome you to bring in your pets. We know that having your pet with you makes the experience of shopping for them even better. And we welcome you to bring your kids also. Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend.
These days, it's important to know people and businesses you can trust. There's a lot of places where you can buy a vehicle, but there's only a few local dealerships where you'll find honest people who have your best interests in mind. And Fiesta Kia is one of them. We've been helping our neighbors save money and drive dependable cars for years, and we'd love to help you. With new Kias arriving daily, you'll love our selection and the peace of mind you'll get driving a Kia from Fiesta. So stop by and see us today at Fiesta Kia on Lomas, or just start driving now at fiestakia.com.
Burglary takes place in the United States approximately every 15 seconds. International Protective Service is your answer for commercial and residential security in all of Albuquerque. IPS will work with your monitoring company for fast, reliable response times. You can rest easy knowing you, your family, or your company is watched over by International Protective Service. Call International Protective Service today.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good name.
Hey, good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Yeah, we'll just get on to it right away. It was a horrible thing to witness. I was at the game. Like you said, the first half was great. They were leading at halftime. I don't know what happened. It was like two different halves. It was very disappointing to watch, though, man. When you're a coach and you're predicting that you're going to be in the bowl game this year, that's kind of hard to swallow, man. I mean, it is what it is, man. But I don't know what to motivate, how they motivate the players, or what can they do to better themselves from this point on. I mean, there's 6 more games left. I don't see any other wins past next week, or this week, I'm sorry. Hawaii is a winnable game, but again, Hawaii beat New Mexico State. Hawaii played tough against San Diego State. I watched that game also, and it was pretty cool. But I don't know, man. I mean, this is a winnable game. There's a lot of them are winnable. No one's Texas A&M or Alabama or anything in this conference, so they're winnable. I mean, he's been saying that there's talent. I want them to prove it. I know Krosky is the only one that I see that's really doing anything.
Yeah.
But hopefully they have a good game this Saturday. I'm still going to be rooting for them no matter what. You know that I'm a very passionate Lobo fan, and that's the way I'm going to be.
Yeah. All right, man. I appreciate you, Mud. Yeah, thanks for the call, and I appreciate your thoughts on it, Mud. This was, JJ, I don't know. You watched it like I did, probably differently than I did. I don't know. They got outscored 38-0 before the late touchdown in the second half. 24-0. I want to say was the number. Was it 13 yards in the third quarter that they had total offense? It might have been 16, and I got it up to 20.
It was 13.
Yeah, 13 yards the first quarter.
In the third quarter, they outscored 24-0, 185 yards for San Jose State, 13 for the Lobos, who went 3 and out in their first 3 offensive drives. But this is about a team that had 0 response, and it wasn't adjustments. It was the first half was a little fluky for San Jose State.
They blocked a punt.
Yeah. They
and I think
ran,
they blocked
19 plays. Yeah. 19 plays for San Jose State.
Yeah, but they hit.
So you knew in the second half, Chevron Cordero, that offense, they were going to make some plays. And you had to withstand the storm. And the offense, all right, they came out. It was a rough start again. But the defense, 0 improvement in the second half. You have to step up and make a play.
They ran for 259 yards, did San Jose State. Kyrie Robinson, 126. Quali Conley, 123. Big plays got you again. And JJ, here's the part, and this is, you're talking to George and George Carter, who I called the game with, the former Lobo linebacker, who knows the game better than I, and you know, I think I know it a little bit, but what bothered him the most was the missed tackles, right? The tackling, and he's right. And I watched some of the game through the binoculars and some of it naked eye up top. The holes that were being opened for those running backs in the second half, they weren't getting touched. If they got touched, till yards deep, and then the penalties, and that's the one thing where. So I'm going to take you to the first drive of the second half. Okay, San Jose State gets a touchback. They would start at the 25-yard line. There were 2 penalties before a play, right, on New Mexico that brought the ball out to the 45-yard line. So you gave them 20 yards in penalties, and they throw a short screen pass to Kyrie Robinson. And I'm not sure he was touched, and he went the whole way. and he took it 55 yards. And I mean, it took 18 seconds for them to score, right? Which was really kind of crazy because the clock said 19:42, and officially they called it a 19-second drive. Help me understand that, Matt. They called it a 19-second drive officially, but anyway. And I said, all right, you got to come back and respond. Well, 3 and out, and then they did it again, and you just had a sick feeling, right, in your gut at that point. The tackling, so the coaches were convinced coming out of the Wyoming game that the tackling was a one-game thing. It wasn't, right? They got hurt. Frank, you were at the game. Good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Hi, Frank.
Hey, guys. I hadn't been to a game in, 20 years. I went to see us get killed by Boise. But the atmosphere was cool, and I got pretty low in the stadium. I was around a bunch of parents,
and
they all love the coach. And at halftime, we're like, holy crap, maybe we're good. And in the second half, it was like, they're just bigger, faster, stronger, smarter. We couldn't stop them, and the coach last week's like, we can't have big plays. That's all they had was big plays.
Yeah.
It was bizarre.
Yeah.
But, for what it's worth, I'll go back. It was a cool atmosphere. I enjoyed it. It'd be better if we were better. But when you're ahead at halftime and you come out and get killed, you don't have to be Fellini to figure that out. We're getting out-coached, too. Thanks, guys.
All right, Frank. Appreciate you. Total yards, 531 for San Jose State. Do you have the halftime numbers?
I do.
What do they have at halftime?
At halftime, they had 19 plays, ran for 156 yards.
So 531 minus 156. I don't know what the number is. What is that? Like basically 350 yards? 2, carry the 1, 5, 4, 2, carry the 7, 375 yards in the second half. Yeah, this one was tough to watch. Louisville fan is frustrated. Louisville fans angry, and I get it. That was a tough one because, and the one thing I'm struggling with, and I understand it, but I'm going to push back a little bit. When that was a 1-5 team, they were a 1-5 team, and I'm going to tell you with that schedule, a lot of teams would have been 1-5, right? They played Air Force, who you just saw. Might be, first of all, they run the ball as well as anybody in America, and maybe going to a New Year's Six game, right? They beat Wyoming. They're the leading candidate for being the Power 5 or the Group of 5 representative. They lost to USC, who was top 10 until Notre Dame beat them. Oregon State, who's top 20, and Toledo, who I know nobody wants to realize is actually a really good team, but is the best team in the MAC. So I'm not telling you they're world beaters. They're 1-5.
They're world beaters on Saturday.
They were world beaters on Saturday, and a Louisville fan, you're tired of watching it, and I get it, and you're tired of losing, and that's the tough part, right? It's when you go back, when you said that number, I'd known they'd lost 14 straight league games in a row, but when you said they hadn't won a league game in University Stadium since 2017, that was Bob Davie, right?
Mm-hmm.
Beat Air Force in September of 2017. Home fans haven't watched them beat up. It's just a lot. That's why I get this. I get the frustration, man. You want to win. You want to be competitive. And I think one of the biggest things this year is you want to see them get better. Now, are they better offensively? Yeah, I think they are. Are they good offensively? I mean, I don't know. Do you think they're good offensively or they're better?
They're better.
Yeah. I mean, Bill is good. Bill, the number 5, Corey Krosky-Merritt, is a good running back. Penalties killed him. And that's the one thing I think that's getting blown out's one thing. I think people are really struggling with the number of penalties, being one of the most penalized teams in America, and that's a discipline thing, right?
Pre-snap penalties at home. Yeah. So that's
is
that a communication thing? Yeah. It's easy when there's penalties. Just say discipline. Right. That's the code word for penalties.
Right. Yeah.
Discipline. But was there a miscommunication? Was there a lack of focus? What was happening on the offensive line to have that happen at home? And with the special teams, I'm not too upset that their strategy of this game was to fair catch kickoffs. That was a strategy.
Yes,
they were not returning kicks.
Right. They were going to take out the 20, and I'm sure that was done because They looked at where they were starting when they returned it. They looked at San Jose State's kick coverage and said, all right, we're the numbers tell us let's take the ball to 25. But then you got to know the rule.
But when you do that, you can't drop them.
Then you got to know the rule. If it hits you in the chest and you drop it, then you got to pick it up and run because now.
I think you can. Once you call a fair catch, you can't pick it up and run. No.
Well, if you drop it, you have to be able to run. If the rule can't be if you call a fair catch and then you drop it and you pick it up and then you're stuck at the 6.
Yeah, because it's like
it doesn't nullify the fair catch.
Because if you call fair catch, then the defenders stop. It's like on a punt.
I need to clarify that because that's
I think is it different for kickoff?
Well, it's got to be because if you call a fair catch and then you drop it, so then you're I don't know. Anyway, all I know is that set them up at the 6-yard line, and that's the series that Dillon threw the interception, which thrown across his body the other side of the field. It was what it was. All right, Danny Gonzalez will be with us at 8:00, and we will get into that. You've got a lot of correspondence on Lobo football. I suspected you would, and we'll get you that, and then you can get through the NFL if there's something that stuck out with you in the NFL. But you obviously, this is where you want to go today, and here we go. 505-246-0610. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610. The Sports Animal, your home for Thursday night and Sunday night and Monday Night Football.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Rosendo Najar here, president of Carpenters Local 1319.
Juan Junior Gonzalez, warden of Local 1319. Some people have a misconception about what a carpenter does.
The carpentering trade entails more than just woodworking or building houses. We are responsible for 85% of a construction job site. Everything from the superintendent on down. We have a great apprenticeship program. Information can be found on our website.
Here at Clark's Pets, we understand your pets. We take meticulous time to find out more about them. Dig deep into their world to understand their needs. We do research for knowledge of each pet, so you can trust Clark's Pets to provide you the best products and service for your pets, because we work hard to understand all of their needs. Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Here at Clark's Pets, we understand your pets. We take meticulous time to find out more about them. Dig deep into their world to understand their needs. We do research for knowledge of each pet, so you can trust Clark's Pets to provide you the best products and service for your pets, because we work hard to understand all of their needs. Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend.
Of course, we just had Frank, a gentleman called, said he was at the game. He sat with a lot of the parents. He had a good time. They love the player, or they love the coach. He says, of course, Frank, the parents of kids who were at the game love the coach, or means it means their kid plays a lot. I have a question. Grade every Lobo position group honestly. I'll start D-line. D. Yeah, D-line wasn't good, man. D-line, in the second half, the D-line got pushed off the ball. There were gigantic holes. They ran the ball, did San Jose State. I know I said at one point, it feels like they're doing whatever they want to do, and they were. And then Cordero took his shot deep and found Nick Nash deep, and they hit the home run ball, and they did what they wanted to do in the second half. They had 375 yards of offense in the second half. How many plays did they run in the second half? I'll bet it wasn't a lot. They didn't run that many plays overall. What's 32 and 17? Is that 50? They only ran 50 plays total. 50 plays, 530-something yards. Oh, yeah, the defense got gashed in the second half. Travis, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Hi, Travis.
Good morning, fella.
What's up, Travis?
Woo, man, it was an expensive weekend.
Was it? Yeah, did you take all those favorites I told you about? You don't listen to me, dude. I went 0-3.
Man, I got to be honest. Who would not have picked the 49ers?
That's right.
And the Eagles money line? Like, just watching the game fall apart, watching that missed field goal, 2 missed field goals.
Yep.
But yeah, man, trying to move on from that. That's a hard one. But look, I think I'm glad we have Danny, coming on in the 8:00 hour, but. Look, he's going to have to face some tough questions. He came out, early on in the season after that tough loss and said, listen, this team has 6 wins in them and they're going to be bowl eligible. And I think when you look at the schedule, UNLV second in the conference.
They're pretty good.
Nevada is no slouch. Boise State is no slouch, and Fresno's no slouch. Like where do those wins come from? I mean, maybe you get lucky against Hawaii, but
it's getting tougher. It's getting tougher to find them now. The path has gotten tougher.
That's exactly right. And if you can't beat, and I understand what you're saying about San Jose State being a better team than the record suggests.
Stop with they're a bad one. I mean, they weren't a horrible team. They were 1-5, and I understand. And please, I'm not making those of you think I am. I'm not making excuses for this. They'll beat some more people. That wasn't just some horrible 1-5 crummy team coming in. They were that was the preseason conference offensive player of the year. They've got players now. That said, they were 1-5, and they shouldn't have run you out of your own building in the second half.
That's exactly right. And then hearing from JJ, look, we have not won a game in our building since the Bob Davie era. It's hard to hear. And I will say
a league game. You've won games, not a conference game.
Right. Sorry. Yeah, that's right. I apologize. Yeah, good clarification. But I think the concern is this team's calling card since the very beginning has always been defense. Always been on the defensive end. Danny Gonzalez, the defensive coach. You thought that was going to be your saving grace, your rock that the team was going to build around, and the offense was always going to sort of progress slower than the defense. That did not happen, and that has not happened all season long. I love Danny. I love his story. I love the fact that he's a New Mexico guy. I'm born and raised in New Mexico myself. I went to UNM for law school and for undergrad. I love this community, and I love his story, but it's a really tough position now that we're in, where we're looking at probably having another losing season in a row. I don't even remember the last time we had a winning season, and there's some tough choices that might have to get made. But I can't tell you how much I love that guy, and I wish we were not in this position, because I wanted him to be successful because of who he is and the things that he means to this community. And it's just a tough position to be in, but I still love the guy. I just wish we were in a different position. Thanks, guys.
All right, man. See you. I think a lot of people feel exactly that way. I think a lot of people, not all of you, I got it. You don't have to send your hate mail. You can if you want. I think a lot of people feel that way. I think a lot of people love Danny and love what he does. And I'm going to sip on this, and I know I got beat up a little bit for it, and I said it to somebody the other day. I think he's done everything the right way except for win. Right? I think what he's done in the community, I think the way he's been outreach, I think the positivity, the fact that he's embraced not just his football program, but the university and the entire community. He's from here. Everything, they except for winning, right? And so I think what Travis just said, I think it really sums up the way a lot of Lobo fan feels about what's going on right now, man. They want that guy to win so badly because they really, 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 really like him.
Add me to that list.
Yeah.
Danny, you have the hometown kid, former Lobo, coming back, trying to build something with what he's doing recruiting-wise, hitting the transfer portal, making the changes offensively this season. And I think the frustrating thing, and Danny feels it more so than anyone else, is that that's his side of the football.
Mm-hmm.
That is the thing that has not been able to get going this year.
I promise you, nobody wants to win more than he does. Right? And he said, we're going to try some different things this week because obviously what we're doing isn't working. And let's see what that means. Here comes Hawaii next week. They're coming off a loss on Saturday Night Pass at home against San Diego State. They can put points up. They got a quarterback who feels like he's coming into his
It's Timmy Chang and the run and shoot offense.
Yeah.
They're going right at your secondary.
And you know what they got? They got coaches and video and guys on scholarship, and they're going to game plan for you as well. Here's an opportunity, right? There's another opportunity in front of you. When we sit here next Monday, how do we feel? Do we feel like they got better? Because I think that's the thing now. You're not eliminated. You're 2-4. There's some wins out there if you can find them. But JJ, this is what I would say. What did you see that makes you believe that it gets better, right? What did you see? And I watched the first half where I thought they controlled the football. They got now the special teams thing. That's 2 weeks in a row you had a block kick, and I think George was saying there was another punt that he thought was blocked.
In the second
first
quarter.
Half? Yeah, in the first half.
Right there.
Yeah, the one that kind of fluttered. Yeah. It was going north to south. It fluttered off to the right side. Yeah, it looked like that was blocked as well. So if that in fact is the case, you've got 3 kicks blocked in the last 2 games. That's something. What's going on with special teams, right? Because look, 2 weeks in a row, I think it turned the game. Look, last week.
Yeah, this is one where if it's 17-7 at halftime,
yeah,
you still gave up 24 points in third quarter.
Yeah, you did. No, you did. Would it have been different? Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, probably not. Yeah, do you feel differently going in? All right, 505-246-0610. You can keep them coming. I got more from you. Danny's going to be with us coming up at 8 o'clock this morning. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610. The Sports Animal, your home for Sunday night and Monday night and Thursday night football.
This report.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
We here at Clark's Pet Emporium welcome you to bring in your pets. We know that having your pet with you makes the experience of shopping for them even better. And we welcome you to bring your kids also. Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports. Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Rangers beat the Astros last night 2-0, Game 1, American League Championship Series. Did you guys watch any of the baseball? You didn't see any of it? Alex Bregman hit a shot, 8th inning. Altuve's on first, 2-0. It was Texas up 2-0. And there, you know that deep part of the ballpark where it jets out? The left field fence is short, and then it jets out deep. He hit it to that deepest part. Great catch out in center field, and Altuve came around second base. Well, he never touched the base coming back. It was wild. They peeled it. and they viewed it, and he was out, and that just spun everything around. It was kind of crazy. But you get the National League Championship get going tonight, and you get all the baseball now. It's underway, so it's that time. When does basketball start? Like in a week, the NBA?
Yeah, it's right around the corner.
All right, so then we'll be at the sports equinox where everything will be going, right? NHL's
So
underway. NBA will be going. Baseball playoffs. National Football League.
Football every night.
Yeah, football every
Basketball.
night.
Baseball playoffs. It's unbelievable.
Cowboys Chargers tonight. Kellen Moore, the offensive coordinator of the Chargers, probably has something dialed up, wouldn't you guess? So you get that here on the Sports Animal. Tony, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Hi, Tony.
Hey, good morning, gentlemen. How you guys doing?
Life's grooving. What's up?
Hey, so, a loss to the Jets doesn't look that bad for Denver anymore, does it?
Not as bad, no.
Not as bad, right? No. So, since and stop me and correct me if I'm wrong, but since you, Mr. Sembiana, were so critical of Denver for losing to them, are you going to are you going to do the same thing to Philly?
Not as critical because Philly's 5-1 and your team is 1-5. So no, not as critical. No, I mean teams will lose.
Philly's a Super Bowl contender.
Yeah.
Denver wasn't a Super Bowl contender.
Yeah. I mean it's stuff happens in the National Football League. And the reason I was so critical is because your coach popped off about their coach and he made it what personal. They done made it what they done made it personal. To me, it's different. I mean, you can be critical of Philly. And Hurts threw some bad balls, and the defense got to him, and it's a loss, and everybody's going to lose. And so, I mean, did they look horrible? No, they didn't. What was the score that Denver had? Denver had the ball, and they were driving, and just kind of like Philly, right? Turnover. Philly's was a interception, and Denver's was a Russell Wilson fumble, right?
So that, and then how does San Francisco lose to a Deshaun Watson-less Cleveland Browns team?
Yeah, maybe this is a better quarterback. Oh, did I say that?
Who is it? P.J. Walker?
Did I say P.J. Walker could be better? He's not. He played better. He played better.
You know what? It was a fun weekend. Yeah. It was a fun weekend. The wife, Tony picks the football teams for his wife, and the football pool at her job, and, third week in a row.
She lost.
Another win for Tony.
Oh, really? All right.
Yes, sir.
Is she sharing the wins with you?
She's half the money.
That's really nice of her.
You guys have a good day.
See you. I mean, I don't know. Should we be as critical on Philly for losing as you were on the Broncos? Philly's 5-1.
Not all losses are created equally, even though they go in the same column. Mm-hmm. They're all NL. The Cleveland-San Francisco game was it's the NFL.
Yeah.
It's a week-to-week.
And you took Cleveland with the 9.5. See, and I saw it going the other way.
Because you look at it, it was P.J. Walker threw 2 interceptions.
Yeah, he did.
They kicked 4 field goals. You're like, that's going to get you beat for sure.
They had 208 yards of total offense.
It didn't make sense, but it makes sense because it's the NFL.
They had 208 yards of offense, and I
knew the defense was going to bounce back. They were prepared for where they are. I think that whole team was shook the first time Deshaun Watson didn't play because Baltimore put him on him in that game. It was that 28-3 game, Dorian Thompson-Robinson. And that it wasn't like, oh my gosh, that's an elite defense.
Right.
They were physical at the point of attack. They made life very difficult on the San Francisco 49ers.
It's going to be interesting to see the Niners if they've got to go a week without McCaffrey, how long they're going to be without Debo. And we keep talking about how deep they are and how good they are and how, right? They play next Monday night. They are on the road at the Vikings, which, boy, how does Monday night keep getting these kind of games? But it's going to be, so they get the extra day to get those guys healthy. And it's going to be interesting. It's the first time in his career now he's no longer undefeated as a starter, right? The Brock Star suffered a loss. I thought in the loss, the way he responded, like, if there's something good to take out of it for San Francisco, it's for the first time your young quarterback was on the road under adversity, trailing with under 2 minutes to go, got the ball back, and he led a drive that got you into field goal. Like a 41-yard field goal for a pro field goal kicker. Brock did his job.
41 yards yesterday was like 80 yards, it felt like, for kickers.
But he did his job.
You put him in position to kick the field goal to win the game.
And it wasn't some crazy, ridiculous, long 41 yards is an average NFL field goal. He should be able to do that.
Nowadays, that is, all right, that's in your back pocket. But
Right.
the rookie kicker goes 1 for 3 for the 49ers,
Yep.
and they lose.
1 for 3. He his long was 25. He was able to hit the 25-yarder. But the 41-yarder with the game on the line, and he pushed it. Dan sent me a text last night, one of our callers, and he said, Shanahan's pissed. I said, at his kicker? Like, what's he pissed at? You know, the pass interference call was the right call. We got to stop with this. Well, he barely... Look, when guys tug shirts, when guys... There's
the defenseless receiver one was tough.
That was a really tough one.
It's like you're just standing there, hit the dude in the chest.
I got a really interesting conversation, and I'll share it with you later, and with y'all. The replay official at the Lobo San Jose State game came up and gave George and I a really good tutorial, George Carter, my broadcast partner on the TV side, on what targeting is and intent and how they and situations, and asked him about running backs, because supposedly running backs should be guilty of targeting as well, right? When they lower their head and you hit with the crown of the hat. So I got a really good tutorial on that. It was really interesting. All right, when we come back, Danny Gonzalez is scheduled to be with us, Lobo head football coach, coming off the 52-24 loss on Saturday past against San Jose State. That is next. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the sports animal, your home for Sunday night and Monday night and Thursday night football.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit HansWhitlerAuto.com.
Here at Clark's Pets, we understand your pets. We take meticulous time to find out more about them. Dig deep into their world to understand their needs. We do research for knowledge of each pet, so you can trust Clark's Pets to provide you the best products and service for your pets, because we work hard to understand all of their needs. Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend.
Extremely bad on Saturday, so unfortunately we can't do anything about that right now. We got to move on to the next one.
What did you see that makes you get better? I mean, whether it was the penalties, the tackling, I mean, they just came out and laid it on you in the second half.
They did. I mean, unfortunately the penalties issue. I mean, we had 9 dead ball penalties, which 8 of them on offense, 1 of them on a kickoff. I mean, those just kill you when the ball is not moving. And I mean, you can say it's discipline. You can say, I mean, honestly, it's a lack of concentration. When you know when the snap count is, you have an advantage over the defense, so you can't jump. Doesn't matter what the situation is. The very first drive, we drive the ball down there, we get it to the 26-yard line, and then we go backwards and have to punt the ball. That's an opportunity at 3 points or 7 if we continue that drive. I thought the first half we played great complementary football with each other. I mean, the offense and the defense were on the same page as far as getting stops and hold and serve and all those things. And I thought the offense moved the ball extremely well. I mean, we had almost 300 yards total offense in the first half. Defense did a good job of getting off the field. We gave up the block punt, which normally that'll steal the momentum, but I thought our offense did a great job because they blocked that punt and got a touchdown. And then our offense took the ball right back down the field and gave us a touchdown to take the lead back. And then they popped the 3rd and 6 for a touchdown on at the end of the first half, but we went down there again and scored and had the lead at halftime. Thought everything was playing out like we had thought. We were going to try and keep the ball away from Chevin Cordero. We were trying to keep him from running the football, which we had success doing in the first half. And then I was hoping that at halftime when I came in and watched it on Saturday that they made all kinds of adjustments that we didn't. We didn't execute as well on either side of the ball. Obviously, offensively, when you start the second half with 6 3-and-outs, and then 4 and out, you're not going to have a chance. And if you don't slow them down on defense, and our D on defense is what we're going to do. What we did in the first half is make them run sideways. You can't let them get a full steady steam downhill at the secondary because those tackles are a lot harder when that guy's coming at you full speed. And we didn't react to the blocks like we did in the first half. We didn't cross face and make it bounce outside, and their guys are getting downhill. And then obviously, maybe I was wrong. Maybe tackling was a more of an issue than I thought because we missed 8 tackles when they're coming straight downhill at us, and so we'll do some stuff this way. But I wish, we screwed up in the second half extremely bad, and now we got to move on from it.
Danny, I asked Brian Vincent the other day, what is it in the second half? Do you see anything? Is it fire? Do you have to call plays? He said it's execution. Just have to make plays, and I'm going to assume it's the same thing on the defensive side because it looked like 2 completely different football teams, yours and theirs, from first half to second half.
Absolutely. I mean, the very first drive, obviously, we get the pass interference penalty on the very first play, and then the second play is a 55-yard touchdown where we did. You can start Grace and all that stuff to make plays. We missed 1 tackle on that deal, and then he went untouched the rest of the way. The tackle could have been a clip in the back. It wasn't. We've got to chase him down and make him cut back inside to our pursuit. We didn't. And then the offense comes out. We've got to, like we did the first half, we've got to respond. They didn't. They went 3 and out. Now, the defense came out on the second drive and it's 21-17, and we hold them to 4 plays and a punt, and then the offense comes out again and it's another 3 and out. And then from there, when they scored, on 3rd and 1, they throw a 55-yard touchdown, and we sold out to try and stop the run. They get play-action pass. And obviously, I need to protect them a little bit more than we did on Saturday, but I expect those guys, when they get put on 9 like that, to make a play. We didn't, and all of a sudden it was 28-17, and we're in those cases we need to be stronger and come on out and step up, get a stop, get a score, and we didn't do it. And then the train started rolling. And give San Jose State credit. I mean, they did a nice job. They played harder than us in the second half, which was disappointing. Brent's doing a good job with that football program. I mean, they whooped our tail in the second half. I can't say anything else about it.
Global football coach Danny Gonzalez is with us on The Sports Animal.
Danny, you guys are on these players in practice. You're showing them the film. You're trying to drill into them. This is where they need to be better. Is this a moment, too, where you look to the players and just hope some of those guys take some ownership, even, like a players only meeting type of deal, just like the guys look at themselves of what they need to do.
Well, we're still in the process of being a player-led team. There's a lot of coach leading on this deal. There's a few of them that are trying. I mean, if you look at our roster, the only individual that has had success at a high level and that's played and won games that are close and all stuff is Dylan Hopkins. I mean, we have 3 kids from TCU. They didn't play. Dylan Hopkins is the one that played in a big manner. So, I mean, we got to jump on his back and ride that tail. We've got to continue. I mean, if it was those guys in the first half, I mean, the stuff we're doing, we're making plays, and what you talked about, JJ, we show them on film. Look, you did it exactly right the first half, and they couldn't do anything. We make this call, and it's not like they're blocking it different. You got to do it exactly the same way and adjust, and then we can come off with our counters off of that. But you got to get to the counters before you can. And they realized. Yesterday they came in with the right attitude. They were down, looking at shots quiet, not saying anything, and we went through the meetings. We watched everything. And now it's move on. You got win or lose. You got 24 hours to feel sorry for yourself or feel good about yourself and move on to the next one. And that's where we're at.
When you talk about execution, is that just something you just have to keep drilling in practice? Is all the time that you guys get in a short week when it's in the season, you just have to be executing everything the right way from Monday through Friday?
Absolutely. It's practice until you can't get it wrong. Don't practice until you get it right one time. It's practice until you can't get it wrong. And continuing the muscle memory of how we're supposed to do things. I mean, obviously, disguise and those things on defense helps. Up front, giving them a different picture. I mean, a couple of those frustrating penalties, the guys had no business moving. We're trying to see what they're doing, and then we're going to adjust and call the audible off of what they're trying to give us, and we jump off sides. I mean, that's a complete lack of focus. I mean, that's the same thing. We do those, and you got to do it in practice until you can't get it wrong. So, I mean, we've got to execute significantly better. And then, as I sound like a broken record, we can't give up big plays, and we're giving up big plays.
Danny Gonzalez, Lobo football coach, is with us. Danny, special teams, you've had 2, and it looked like was the punt in the second quarter deflected, the one going from your left to right, went out of bounds on the right side. You had an extra point blocked at Wyoming. You had the punt blocked for a touchdown here. You're giving up points there. You have Luke drops the ball, calls a fair catch, and I'm going to ask for clarification on that rule, too, because we were having a conversation. Special teams is costing you the last couple of weeks.
I thought special teams cost us 14 points Saturday, and they were key. Now, like I said, I thought the offense did a great job after the block punt for a touchdown and went right back down and scored and took the momentum back. But that was an assignment error by 2 guys. I mean, we're going to rugby punt because they were giving pressure, and they've got 4 guys in there that they do a great job with getting pressure and have had success blocking punts early in the season. So the idea was to roll out. We have 2 guys that don't, and we roll out right into the guy that blocks it. So we got to obviously concentrate better and clean that up. The second one wasn't blocked. It wasn't a very good hit by Aaron Rodriguez. They did get a little bit of pressure to that side, but we had protected the way exactly how we showed him. He just hit it off the side of his foot, and he got an okay roll, but it did not get deflected. And then the kickoff return, the idea, so San Jose State, and I'm kind of intrigued by what they've done with their kickoff unit. They've onside kicked 8 times this season. They pop it up. They kick it all over. They do those things, so in order to be prepared, our idea was we'll take the ball to the 25-yard line. If they want to pop it up, we'll fair catch it. If they want to onside it, we'll take it at the 30. And we had a hands team, essentially. We had wide receivers, DBs, and linebackers, our best guys in hands in all those positions. The rule on a fair catch is if you call for a fair catch, the play is dead right there where it is. If you catch it, the ball's on the 25. If you drop it, the ball's dead right there because you're basically succeeding to the defense that I give up, I'm going to catch it and take it to the 25. Well, that was a line drive. We practiced it all week long, and we told them if you drop a football, you're going to have the ball right there. I thought that was a huge part of the second half because we were down 28-17, which is still very attainable football. And then we drop the ball at the 6-yard line, we throw an interception, and then we don't go out there and stop them. Okay. And I thought that was kind of the beginning of the end. I mean, at 28-17, that's not a big deal in college football. Really, we hold them to a field goal. It's 31-17. We still got an opportunity, but then the 38-17, all of a sudden. Now, I don't think our kids gave up. I got that impression on Saturday. They were still fighting. We weren't executing. We're running things different, and that's where it ended up. But give San Jose State credit for what they do schematically on kickoff. It's pretty intriguing.
Yeah, that helps because both George and I and then JJ and I weren't sure If the ball hits the ground, if you drop it on a fair catch, does that make it live again? And the answer is no. All right, moving forward, the message into Hawaii is what? I mean, that was a tough one. You've got a lead at halftime. You're playing with them. It's a really good football game in the first half, and it gets away. You give up 38 straight. Here comes a Hawaii team that just put up 34 on San Diego State, and they're hungry. And Timmy's got that offense certainly moving.
No, Coach Chang's doing a really good job with what they're doing offensively. I mean, they're giving us some points, but they're scoring points. So obviously, we'll have our challenges. I mean, they'll watch the tape and they'll see some of the ones that we've been thrown by and those guys, and they'll attack them. So we'll attack those guys in practice. I mean, you talked about the leadership, or JD asked earlier about the leadership on the team. What are we doing at the players leading meeting? I mean, there's some of our older guys on the team, Alec Marenko, who has played his tail off. I mean, he's got a torn meniscus in his knee, fighting through all this stuff. He actually was one of our better ones on Saturday. He got after the team yesterday pretty good. And I mean, his message, and he wasn't wrong. I mean, you take Texas A&M out of it. They whooped our tail for that game. They're better than we are, and that's what they are. The next thing, we played a really bad half of football on Saturday. Outside of that, we've been competitive. I mean, we got an opportunity on Saturday. Lace them up. We'll go Hawaii, Nevada, UNLV. The only one to worry about this week is Hawaii. Like I said, our league is very comparable. If you watch the Wyoming Air Force game, those are the two best teams, and I think Air Force is the best group of 5 team. I thought the winner coming out of that was the best group of 5 team, and Wyoming had a lead, and Air Force made a bunch of plays at the very end of the game to win the game. I mean, Colorado State's down by 20 with 4 minutes to go. They come back. Our league, top to bottom, is comparative. Other than maybe Air Force, maybe they're better than everybody. But get an opportunity on Saturday against Hawaii, and then we'll keep moving forward. The attitude's right. Obviously, we got to coach them better to have an opportunity to win in the second half. We're going to change some stuff up this week in practice to give the second half, the third and fourth quarter, a bigger identity, and we'll keep moving forward.
You just said something that I know we're going to get asked about. You said they didn't quit, and I've heard that they look like they quit, and it's one of the worst things that you could say to a student athlete or an athlete, right, a competitor, that you quit. You sense that they didn't, because I've already, people have texted me that they did. You may have even heard it, but your feel was that their attitude is still right, that this team is still, when you look in their eyes yesterday and when you were on that sideline on Saturday, you felt that they were still fighting the way they needed to.
Well, the way those big plays were popping, especially, I mean, we were going 3 and out on offense, and then the big plays that are popping on defense, I mean, you look at it like they're not even trying. Because I see that, and from a fan, from sitting in the stands, you see those guys running down the field, and the runs that are getting 7-8 yards downfield, full steam ahead. It's like, God, they're not even trying. And then, I mean, I was upset on Friday night, and after the game, you try to keep yourself even keeled, because until you watch it, you have no idea the reality of how bad it was or how good it was or what the whole situation is. And I told them on Saturday, I mean, it's obviously going to be a gut check. We gave up 38 points in the second half and didn't respond offensively on either side of the ball. Who are we as character? Who are we? What are we going to come back and do on Sunday? And then I sat up here and watched it on Saturday night because, I mean, it was bothering me. I mean, they're trying. We're not block racking the same way. We're getting after. I mean, the last touchdown was a 9-play drive because we didn't give up a big play drive. We make 2 mistakes down here. They convert a 4th and 3. I mean, if they're just running it and we're not even trying, not even chasing them, they're playing their tails off. We made so many darn mistakes in the second half. You didn't give yourself a chance to even be competitive, which was the most disappointing part. Practice until you can't get it wrong. I mean, that'll be the continued message, and come up with an identity for the third and fourth quarter so we don't screw that up, because both teams had struggled at halftime. Obviously, San Jose State didn't in the third quarter. They got it going with the flip screen and then stopped us on defense. So we got to eliminate that and give ourselves a chance this week against Hawaii, which is our next opportunity.
Hawaii at University Stadium on Saturday. Always appreciate the conversation, Danny. Thank you for spending some time with us. Good luck this week against Hawaii. We'll see you this week.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I know we made a tough job Saturday calling the game, but you and George do a great job. Appreciate what you guys do. Thanks, JJ. Go Lobos.
Thank you. Danny Gonzalez, head football coach at the University of New Mexico. That conversation was sponsored by the law offices of Rudy Chavez, personal and experienced care for your legal issues. Call Rudy at 505-242-5500 today and make your legal problems go away. There was a bunch in there, and you guys had sent me some questions, and I think they got answered. But a couple of key things, JJ. One about effort, and one about getting off blocks and reacting to blocks and what that meant. And what does it mean going forward? That's next. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610. The Sports Edible, your home for Sunday night and Monday night and Thursday night football.
This report is...
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us, and my wife, and our daughter, they didn't make it.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in Murcia. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you.
I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
Rosendo Najar here, president of Carpenters Local 1319.
Juan Junior Gonzalez, warden of Local 1319. Some people have a misconception about what a carpenter does.
The carpentry trade entails more than just woodworking or building houses. We are responsible for 85% of a construction job site. Everything from the superintendent on down. We have a great apprenticeship program. Information can be found on our website.
We here at Clark's Pet Emporium welcome you to bring in your pets. We know that having your pet with you makes the experience of shopping for them even better. And we welcome you to bring your kids also. Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
our website, sportsanimalabq.com. And I appreciate it. Look, we've done this show. This is our 16th football season, right? That we've been doing this, and I appreciate it. It's not easy, man. And I always appreciated when Mike Loxley did it, when Bob Davey did it, when Rocky did it, when things weren't good, they were there, and Danny was as well. A couple of things, and again, I'm not. All I'm saying is when you're not winning, it's not fun to do it, right? It's a lot more fun to talk about winning. He said the second half, they weren't reacting to the blocks up front. And the mantra was practice until you can't get it wrong. Because to me, JJ, they got out physicaled up front. And I know Ned said that to you, Ned James, your partner on the post-game show. George Carter, former linebacker, my partner on the television broadcast, said that he just felt defensive front was getting out physical. And he said that's what they've got to look at, and they've got to figure that out. And it was, Danny said it was reacting to blocks differently. Okay.
And the reason, one of the things I talked to Danny about is if the players don't step up, then there's nothing the coaches can do.
That's right.
Like, they see what we all see. They see it differently on the film. They can point things out. Hey, this is where you have to be better. This is what teams are going to do to us. This is what we have to react to. Because it hasn't, all of it hasn't been just, oh, you're getting beat over the top. You can't cover one-on-one. Like, the game-changing plays against Wyoming and against San Jose State were essentially, one was essentially a screenplay. It was a broken play, but it was a 4-yard pass that Wyoming takes 66 yards, and this was
like this one,
designed screen.
Yeah.
And so it's plays that are happening in front of you that you can't stop.
I'm gonna give a little credit San Jose State, and I don't know how impressed were you with Kyrie Williams. He's played in 6 of their 7 games. Their running back, he's scored in every game.
Very good running back.
He had 126 yards rushing and 63 receiving. It was their first time since I want to say in a couple of years that they had 2 guys over 100. Well, you got 2 running backs go over 100. Now they both busted one. Quali Conley had the late one for 68 yards, and they rewarded him with the touchdown. You had to figure out something up front. That to me, and you were right and I was wrong on this. We went into the season and I said I got to believe the offense is going to be better because Brian Vincent offenses have always been relatively good, and you're bringing in a quarterback who's proven that they can win. Now I know you did that with why am I forgetting the young man's name who came in from Kentucky? Right, Terry, touchdown Terry. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that didn't work. But I thought the defense would be good. I've watched this defense for a lot of years, and you said you were really concerned about the loss of AJ Halsey and Cody Moon and the guys who opted out. And my thought was I would like to have those guys here, but I've watched it for so long. Guys grow into their roles, right? College football, you lose guys every year. And it feels like you were really right.
Jimmy and the Joes, not the X's and the O's. Yeah. And that's what we're seeing defensively.
Yeah. And, Tavian Combs can only do so much. Kristen Ellis led the team in tackles with 7. But they're getting gashed up front. And that's look, I'll give San Jose State credit. Brent's a good coach. He's got a good staff over there. They use the tight end a little bit. He got loose. But yeah, it was a rough one. All right, 505-246-0610. You can get in today at that same number. HB says biggest loss of the transfer portal was Rocky Long. You've been out to practice. You've watched it a little bit. Do they practice differently, do you think?
That one, it goes right back to scheme because they're not running anything differently schematically. I think it's the bigger loss, though, is ultimately the players you have in the scheme. Because you're not seeing someone take that step up that you thought there would be.
That would just elevate it. Yeah, that would just elevate it. All right, 505-246-0610. You want to do Red Zone when we get back? All right, when we get back, we'll get into the NFL. DC's put together some stuff coming out of a big weekend in the NFL. I got still at some point got to give you biggest winners and losers. from the weekend from my perspective. Interesting week in the NFL. Before we get out of here, I want to wrap up the college stuff and go through the Mountain West scores over the weekend because they were interesting. The big one, did you guys after the game, did you catch any of the Wyoming Air Force game?
Yeah.
Okay, so who called me the other day? Who called us the other day and said, "Oh, it's trash weekend. There's no good college football." There was so much freaking good. It was your boy Edward, right? Mm-hmm. There was so much good college football to watch this weekend. Just because he didn't have his marquee, it was entertainment across the board. San Jose State obviously was in here and beat New Mexico, but the Wyoming game with Air Force was a terrific watch. 34-27. Air Force may be the best Group of 5 team in America, and they're in line now maybe to get to a New Year's Six bowl. UNLV beat Nevada 45-27. Don't look now. The Rebels are 5-1 overall and 2-0 in Mountain West Conference. Boise State had a big lead on Colorado State, and the Rams came back, and Dylan Holker caught a ball in the end zone on a Hail Mary with no time left, and I still don't know how he caught it. And Colorado State beat Boise State 31-30. Rams are 3-3. Boise State's 3-4.
Boise State led 30-10 with 6 minutes left in the game.
Yep.
In the game.
Yep. No lead is safe. And San Diego State won the late one out on the island, 41-34. All right, 505-246-0610. That's how to get here. 888-922-0610. We'll take a call, finish up thoughts on the Lobos when we come back, and then get into the red zone on the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610. The Sports Animal, your home for Sunday night and Monday night and Thursday night football.
Brought to you by the Albuquerque.
Olivas going to the corner of the end zone. Nice grab there by Josh Jackson, and that's going to be a touchdown, El Dorado.
Their strong point, their focal point here.
Nelson will keep it himself for some room on the right side. Nelson's on his feet, and he is in. It's a touchdown for Noah Nelson.
Sliding, they slid out of going out there. Linebacker, they're going for the big gutter play. How did he hold on to that? Ethan Olguin. My goodness, a 32-yard bomb. He's going to launch this one long, and it's a little bit short, but what a pull down. Fabian Trujillo. Unbelievable, this man.
Dyer, back to pass. Pressure, gets out of it nicely. On the sideline, got an open man. It's Lambrana. Cheeto made one miss. Cuts back up the middle. Another cut to the right, and he's all the way down at the 10-yard line.
Is that Sweet Pete Jr.?
Right?
That's Sweet Pete Jr. right
What a
there.
move there by Cheeto Lambrera.
Second and 1, give it to Gallus. Once again, he evades one tackle, evades two. Breaking into the open, there's a block, bye-bye. And he breaks the last tackle to get through. Jack Gallus with the touchdown.
Happy with his defense so far. Vukovic, and that ball is ripped up. Bernalillo will have this ball at the 1-yard line.
That's the extra yards for Cheeto. Dyer quickly, it's batted into the air, and it is picked off. Rams football as Rio Rancho finally gets the turnover they need as it's tipped into the waiting arms of Vicente Tafoya. Ryan Brown that punched it into the air and allowed Tafoya to come away with it. Let's see if Nelson can make it pay.
back.
No! LaCueva gets it back on another tip drill. It falls into the waiting arms of the senior Luke Ryder.
Kick is up. It will bounce into the arms of Daniel Garcia, and Garcia explodes through the middle. He dodges Castro, and Garcia will run that one back from about the 17-yard line. Call that one an 83-yard touchdown rush. Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
We here at Clark's Pet Emporium welcome you to bring in your pets. We know that having your pet with you makes the experience of shopping for them even better. And we welcome you to bring your kids also. Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend.
Stone here after a crazy weekend in the NFL. I mean, your two undefeateds went down, and I don't know how many of you took the money line on the Eagles losing to the Jets or the Niners losing to the Cleveland Browns. So we'll do that, 505-246-0610. Frank, thanks for holding. I know you want to talk about the Lobos. Good morning, Frank.
Good morning. Hey, I don't think you guys are giving enough credit to the coaches for that Lobo loss.
Okay.
The opening drive, Lobos are coming down, have a good drive started, 3 illegal procedure calls. That's all coaching. I know the kids are making a mistake, they're jumping off sides, but all those things get resolved at practice. And shouldn't have that many illegal procedure penalties throughout the game. That's all coaching. We're moving the ball by passing, and then we decide to run. That's coaching. The defense is not Rocky's defense.
Nope.
They're playing mostly zone. They don't blitz very often. That's not the Lobo defense. That's not the Lobo style. That's not what we've been used to since Jolie Dunn. The defense is just very conservative, and that's why other teams have enough time to sit back in the pocket and pick us apart. And so you're not giving enough credit to the coaches.
Appreciate you, Frank. Thank you. So we asked Danny specifically about the penalty.
Blame?
Right? Yeah, I think that's certainly what he's saying. Yeah, no, that's certainly what he's saying. Yeah, and ask him. I mean, look, there's no ignoring 15 penalties. There's none. And I mean, I don't know how much credit / blame you. Yeah, they've got to clean that up. Now, is it? I always wonder about this, right? Everybody, it's easy. It's discipline. It's coaching. Left tackle jumps, forgets the snap count. Head coach's fault, offensive coordinator's fault, offensive line coach's fault, or left tackle's fault. And the answer can be all the above if you want. But yeah, no, you're right, Frank. I mean, that's fair. That's just too many. Everybody's got to eat that blame. Everybody has to eat that blame. And it's just, I mean, 15 penalties. When you're second, third, first in the country in penalties, it's not okay. All right, you want to go to the red zone? Let's go.
How much you want to make a bet I can throw a football over the mountains?
Are you crazy? I'm saying you're a football player.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to Tom Brady this game.
You're in the red zone with Jeff Symbieta and JJ Bach.
Let's go, baby!
It's first and goal.
Last week, we wondered about whether Patrick Mahomes is playing down to his competition this year. Despite that, the Chiefs went out and got a big win against the Broncos on Thursday Night Football. So what about Jalen Hurts? Hurts went 28 of 45 for 280 yards, 1 touchdown, and 3 interceptions. Last interception was especially bad as it put the Jets into position to take the lead. After the Jets scored, Hurts could not move the ball and eventually lost to the Jets for the first time in franchise history after a failed 4th down attempt. So what is your concern level for Jalen Hurts and the 5-1 Philadelphia Eagles?
I'm not concerned. They played a good defense. To play down to their level, I mean, they didn't lose to the Giants like the Bills almost did, right? They lost to a 3-3 football team with what I think we all acknowledge is one of the best defenses in the league, right? I mean, don't we all agree with that? And so in the National Football League, you're going to lose games. Niners lost a game. They lost. The Chiefs lost a game. My concern, I'm not going to take a 1-game sample size, which he didn't look great, and go from, wow, I think he's really good, to, ooh, I'm concerned about. I'm not very concerned about him. That's not a trend. They lost a game to a really good defense.
Very low level of concern. If their tackle Lane Johnson is out, that's going to change things for the Eagles moving forward. They were not able to run the football consistently, but that's okay because it's the NFL. And you're going to have games where you have to find a way. You're going to have to have games where you overcome. And for Jalen Hurts, he played what he hopes is the worst game of his season. Was not good throwing the football downfield. And what's frustrating about it is the Jets were without their top 2 cornerbacks in this game. Sauce Gardner wasn't out there blanketing A.J. Brown. But it's a credit to the Jets' defense, and it is...
Especially their front.
That front 7 did a really good job. Is there things to pick apart? Absolutely. But am I concerned about the Eagles long term? No.
Second and goal.
Ready, down, put.
Well, speaking of the Jets, Aaron Rodgers was on the field before the game against the Eagles. He was not on crutches, he was not wearing a brace, and he was throwing the football just 34 days after tearing his Achilles just 4 plays into the season. After getting a big win, the Jets are 3-3 and very much in the mix for a wild card in the AFC. How will the rest of the 2023 regular season play out for the New York Jets?
I think it's still going to be a roller coaster ride. Even with as good as that defense is when you lack offense in the NFL, you can't do this every single week. You can have a week where the Browns defense steps up, but then they're going to have a week where they lose 28-3, as they did to Baltimore. And so the Jets, I think they're going to be hanging on. They'll be looking at Aaron Rodgers every week, walking around, being out there, doing things we've never seen done before with the Achilles. But ultimately, it's going to be them on the outside looking into the playoffs.
I think they hover right around this 500 mark where they are. They're going to win. They're going to steal a game from somebody like they did yesterday that maybe they shouldn't. Right? They still have the Bills and the Dolphins on the schedule. They still have. But I look at games, Giants, Chargers, Raiders, Falcons, Texans. There's a lot of winnable games. But they're not going to win all those because I think they're going to have inconsistency on the offense. One thing that they do well, they run the ball. They run the ball, and Brees Lightning is running really well. Their defense will keep them competitive, and I think they hover right around 500.
Third and goal.
Oh,
Tyreek Hill torched the Panthers for 163 yards in Week 6, bringing his 23 total to 814 receiving yards, the most in the first 6 games of a season in the Super Bowl era. It was Hill's 12th career game with at least 150 receiving yards and a touchdown, tying him with Hall of Famer Calvin Johnson for the 3rd most such games in a player's first 8 seasons. Tyreek Hill now needs 1,186 yards to become the first wide receiver to gain over 2,000 in a season, and he is currently number 13th at plus 7,500 to win the NFL MVP. So what's more likely to happen and why? Tyreek Hill goes over 2,000 yards or wins the MVP?
I think it's more likely that he goes over 2,000. I think he's going to fall short of that. And it's so rare that a receiver is MVP, as good as he is. Like, I think people would vote Tua before him just because Tua's a quarterback and he's a receiver. Whether or not, it's the Cooper Kupp thing from a couple of years ago, right? Cooper Kupp had a historical season, but was I want to say 3rd in the MVP voting, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think he does either, but it's more likely to me that he goes over 2,000.
If he's over 2,000 yards and leading the league in touchdowns, I would give him my MVP vote over Tua. That's unbelievable.
There are enough people that would?
I don't know if there's enough people that would, but you should. Because this is one where Tua's good, but he's good because of Tyreek Hill. This is not a Patrick Mahomes situation. Like, what Tyreek Hill is doing in that offense right now, it's crazy. Because we all see it, and it's like, oh, just double cover Tyreek Hill. You can't stop the guy right now. He pulls up with a cramp, and you're like, oh my gosh, what just happened? And he comes back out there, and the next pass, he's like, I had some Gatorade. Oh, here's another 40-yard reception. If he goes over 2,000, leading the league in touchdowns, that's legit MVP. You best recognize.
4th and goal.
Did I stutter? Beer me.
Injuries were at the top of Week 6 headlines. I'm going to go ahead and list some of the more notable names, and then you tell me your general thoughts and level of concern both for the player and those teams. Start with Jeff. Ryan Tannehill.
I don't know how bad the ankle is. I mean, when you get carted off with an ankle injury, it's probably pretty bad. I just know what they are, and I know what that team is, and I don't know that that's their guy that keeps them competitive. Now, they're 2-4 and 1 game out, or 2 games out of first place in a division where nobody's going to run away. Everybody keeps telling me there's nothing there. There's nobody behind him. Well, there's Malik Willis, who you drafted last year and 2 years ago, and there's Will Levis this year. I think it's time to see what Will Levis can do, whether or not Ryan Tannehill's ankle comes back. To me, I got to go to the bullpen and see if Will Levis can win me some games.
All right, JJ, Deebo Samuel.
I would be very concerned about Deebo in the short term because it's compounded with Christian McCaffrey. Because if those 2 players are out of the offense, it takes away 2 things that Kyle Shanahan likes to do, and it's get the ball quickly in space to dynamic playmakers. So it's a right shoulder injury for Deebo Samuel. For him, it's something that you have to watch out for, but then you compound it with Christian McCaffrey, and it's very concerning the next couple weeks for the 49ers.
All right, Jeff, Jimmy Garoppolo.
Injured often, and then had a back injury. I guess he went to the hospital with his back injury. So that's going to make me think it's serious. I don't know that Brian Hoyer is your guy. What was last week? Was Aiden O'Connell? What was he? Is there a reason he didn't play?
He was the emergency third quarter.
All right, so here's the deal. Don't look now. The Raiders are in a wild card spot. Like, the Raiders are 3-3. Raiders are battling for a wild card spot right now. And if Jim Garoppolo gives them the best chance to win, and with this group he does, if he can play, they're going to find a way to get him back in. Now, is Aiden O'Connell your guy? Brian Hoyer your guy? Raiders are in a weird spot because they don't score. They're not very good. They finally broke 21 points because they got a safety at the end of the game. They finally broke 20 points. But they got the Bears and the Lions. The Jets, the Giants and the Jets. They got winnable games coming up. This is a pretty big, important stretch. If he's healthy, he's your guy.
All right, JJ, Trevor Lawrence.
Oh, Trevor Lawrence. 0. He said he was fine after the game. The only time that he wasn't on the field was the kneel downs at the very end. If it was something serious, we would have heard something concerning about Trevor Lawrence. So it seems like it's just a tweak.
All right.
David Montgomery. Yeah, rib injury, no break in his ribs. I'm not concerned because they got 2 other good backs, right? And if you need to sit him for 2 weeks and run Jahmyr Gibbs and Craig Reynolds, I think you're fine because your offense is really good. You're gonna sit him until he's healthy and ready to go. There's no need to rush him back in. You've got control of your division. You're in a good place right now. Now, are you playing maybe for the best record in the conference? Now the Niners and the Eagles both lost. Fair, but I got to get him healthy. I'm not super. He may miss a week or two, but I'm not overly concerned about them.
All right, finally, Justin Fields.
This is very concerning to me because everything, not just missing games, but Justin Fields was finally putting some things together. And he was, all right, let's just see what Justin can do. Could he win this job back? Could he be the quarterback of the future? And even before he dislocated his right thumb, it was a very pedestrian offense, a game that I think everyone was looking at. Minnesota, Chicago, the offenses should function. There should be a lot of plays there. There wasn't for both these teams, but especially Justin Fields not able to create against the Minnesota defense. It put a lot of pressure on him. Now he has a thumb injury. Now everyone's questioning him again. It's worst case scenario for Justin Fields.
All right, that's your In the Red Zone. You can get into any of that. When we come back, Rams had a full cup available to them. Are they a contender for a wild card in the NFC, or did they just beat the Arizona Cardinals? We'll get into that when we come back on the Sports Animal, your home for Monday night and Thursday night and Sunday night football. Hey, now is not the time to take your home or business security for granted. Call IPS. I did years ago, and it gives my family, my neighbors, peace of mind as well. International Protective Service watches my home. And not only does IPS provide standing guards and armed patrols, they install alarms and cameras, which will record criminal activity, and they have smart technology to control access to your facility. At IPS, they monitor your systems. So if they see something suspicious, they send someone to check it out. It's a winning combination to prevent you from being victimized. I trust IPS. I'm glad we have IPS. My family is happy that we have IPS. My neighbors now employ IPS. You can as well. It's affordable private security, and private security can save you money. 505-897-2420. 505-897-2420 or online at ipsglobal.com. Passionate about your security.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
Rosendo Najar here, president of Carpenters Local 1319.
Juan Junior Gonzalez, warden of Local 1319. Some people have a misconception about what a carpenter does.
The carpentry trade entails more than just woodworking or building houses. We are responsible for 85% of a construction job site. Everything from the superintendent on down. We have a great apprenticeship program. Information can be found on our website.
Here at Clark's Pets, we understand your pets. We take meticulous time to find out more about them. Dig deep into their world to understand their needs. We do research for knowledge of each pet, so you can trust Clark's Pets to provide you the best products and service for your pets, because we work hard to understand all of their needs. Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Here at Clark's Pets, we understand your pets. We take meticulous time to find out more about them. Dig deep into their world to understand their needs. We do research for knowledge of each pet, so you can trust Clark's Pets to provide you the best products and service for your pets, because we work hard to understand all of their needs. Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors.
I'm gonna be.
Well, dude, it was 29-0,
This
and
is
they
a
were beating
hard
a bad
time
team.
of year to watch movies, to watch shows. It's Friday night, kids in bed,
And we're talking Colorado, Stanford.
halftime. They're up 27-0.
29, and Stanford's
Coach
not good.
Prime, like, all right, I'm gonna throw on some Amazon Prime, get this, and then as I was getting ready to go to the bed, I looked at the phone. I was like, what? 46-43 in overtime. There is no one in college football that wins or loses like the Colorado Buffaloes and Coach Prime.
Even the way they lose.
Because when they lose, it's a story because people want them to lose and are very happy when they lose, especially like that.
Colorado. If you didn't see the end of the Colorado State Boise State game, catch that too. I'm waiting for a replay. I don't know how he caught the ball. No, I'm certain he did.
It was great positioning.
Colorado, because they did knock the ball down, and he peeled it right off the floor.
That is coached up. That is what you do in Hail Marys. You
Have
run
somebody in front of the play.
Have someone in front, because the defense is coached to bat it down, and so Colorado State ran a player in position in front of the scrum in the end zone.
Yeah.
It gets batted down, one arm catch from their tight end. What a play, and what a victory for Colorado State! The first ever win over the Boise State Broncos.
I didn't know that.
And you feel a certain way about some teams. And I feel that way about Boise State. And so when they they gave up a 20-point lead with 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter, put a little smile
You
on my
feel
face.
that way because of their media.
A little bit. Being around those guys a lot.
Yeah. You tend to dislike or like teams because of their fan base, right?
It's not the team. You're right.
No, look, people.
I like Andy Avalos.
There's a reason people don't like the Cowboys, and a lot of it's their fan base, right? Oh, they're cocky, they're arrogant, whatever, right?
Yeah.
And DC, the Boise State media runs around like they've done something. Like, well, we cover Boise State. We're better. We're going to the Big 12. We're going to Pac-12. No, we went to Fiesta Bowl. Well, okay, good, man. And you're working market 130, whatever. And you didn't win a freaking game. But there's this arrogant, right? No, you're right. There's something about the way those guys walk around. And I got some friends in the media. Like the voice of the Broncos, Bob Beeler's a good dude, right?
Oh, yeah.
But man, oh man. All right. Air Force in the top 25 for the first time since 2002. They're ranked 20, what are they, 22? Air Force is 22, so that's a big deal. Tease this going in. Rams got Cooper Kupp back. He looked healthy. Rams had a season-low 123 yards in the first half. They scored 20 points. They ran the football. Then Cooper Kupp had 7 catches for 148 overall. Rams offense make them a contender?
Yes.
A contender for a wild card spot, right?
Yes. Absolutely. Because Cooper Kupp is unbelievable, going to continue to do his thing. They have a good running game. Kyren Williams. Puka Nacua is going to be hot and cold now that Cooper Kupp's back, but he dropped a touchdown.
Yeah, he did.
So he had the opportunity. Matthew Stafford is still throwing his way. But a healthy Matthew Stafford keeps you competitive in the NFL.
If the Cowboys don't beat the Chargers tonight, the Rams and the Cowboys have the same record. Just saying. Rams and Cowboys will have the same record. Seahawks are 3-2. Rams are 3-3. For second place in that division. All right, we got a lot of NFL to get through. A whole lot of NFL to get through, including how we did in the 3-for-all. And I'll give you the 3 biggest winners and 3 biggest losers of the NFL weekend when we come back. On the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal, your home for Sunday night and Monday night and Thursday night football.
Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep. All your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
We here at Clark's Pet Emporium welcome you to bring in your pets. We know that having your pet with you makes the experience of shopping for them even better. And we welcome you to bring your kids also. Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Hi, I'm Steve Stunker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride barbecue chicken and ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports. Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Yeah, no, but now you've just exited it.
Yeah, I know.
You took Washington 2.5, got 2.5 over Atlanta, and you won outright. JJ's questioning this one because he saw the number at 36, but you got it at 35.5. The over on San Francisco, Cleveland, they hit 36. The number that we wrote down was 35.5. And then you took, I remember when this went down, you DC first, when I'll take Houston plus 1.5 versus New Orleans, and Jay's like, I'll go the other side on that. So
he's changing his luck.
I know. That 35.5, that's just what it was on FanDuel when I looked it up. I know it moved throughout the weekend, but at the time, I know that's what it was.
Overall, we went 4-5. We stink. And we're just not really. And this is the whole point, just to show you how hard it is. All right, I struggled with winners and losers today. I did, but I'm gonna give you what I got. My 3 biggest winners and losers from the weekend. Honorable mention winner is Vegas because they're in the mix. They beat Bill Belichick. It's probably as big for their head coach to beat Bill Belichick as it is for the Raiders. But that's with their quarterback in the hospital. I give them honorable mention and understanding who they beat, but I give them honorable mention. All right, my number 3, Cincinnati. They started 1-3. They played a good football team, and they found a way to hold on. Okay, they found a way to hold on and win, and to now thrust themselves right back into the heat of the mix. They are just 1 game out of first place in the AFC North, a team that started 1-3, and it's because they beat what I do believe is a good football team in Seattle, and we'll hear from Seattle later. But I got number 3 is Cincinnati, and my number 2 biggest win of the week is Cleveland. And you can make an argument that they're number 1. But with a backup quarterback, to beat the undefeated Niners, now granted they held on and they needed a guy to miss a field goal at the end, but their defense, not that you needed to prove that they were legit, but their defense flat out showed what they're about. And to beat that team that, again, I'll go into this, San Francisco didn't show you a weakness before this week. They're number 2. And my number 1 win of the week is the Jets. They're 3-3. And they're in the playoff picture with the wild card. And to continue to be competitive without Aaron Rodgers. Their quarterback's getting better. He's not great. Their defense is terrific. And to beat the defending NFC champs like they did and place themselves in a position like they did and win down the stretch like they did and make plays down the stretch. I got the Jets as my biggest winner of the weekend. You okay with those?
I'm good with it.
How would you have them?
Hey, Cleveland and the Jets have to be on there, and then it's searching for that next kind of big win.
Cincinnati's was a big win, man.
It was, but they were home favorites.
The other two I had on there were Las Vegas, Washington, and Jacksonville.
I think, as the way you've kind of constructed this, it's in the moment, and also kind of what it means going forward. I guess, someone in the vein of Cincinnati, like you thought they were going to win, but I think Detroit gets, you go into Tampa Bay, and that game was won by Jared Goff and his arm. Yeah, defensively they shut down Baker Mayfield and Tampa Bay, and we know that offense is going to be really hot and cold with Baker Mayfield at the helm. But David Montgomery goes down. Jahmyr Gibbs is already ruled out of the game. He wasn't playing. And Jared Goff lights him up.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to stick with what I got, but I respect that. All right. My three biggest losers, number 3 of the week in New Orleans. They had an opportunity to take over first place in their division. They wasted 353 yards in the air from Derek Carr, and they can't put the ball in the end zone. And they finally picked off C.J. Stroud. Look, I think Houston's nice. I mean, they're 3-3 for crying out loud. That young quarterback is really, really good. But they wasted another, what was a pretty good performance, and now he's got to get him in the end zone. But I think they had an opportunity to go on the road. That's a tough loss for New Orleans, the way I look at it. Number 2, and this is my double up. I got 2 double ups. Seattle. They had opportunity after opportunity after opportunity to go on the road and make a statement. And especially with the Niners losing, this is now drop them to 3-2, coming off a bye week for Seattle. I thought that they had too many opportunities and just didn't finish. And number 1's New England. And they may be number 1 for a while. I mean, just what that loss means, it dumps them. They had an opportunity to win on the road. Their quarterback's going to take all the heat. Their quarterback, Mac Jones, on that last drive, you can only do so much. He threw a deep ball, and Devontae Parker, you are a professional receiver. You've got to receive the ball. In stride, ball drops in your hands, then Mac Jones takes the safety. Good night now, thanks for coming. New England, with everything going around them and the way they're swirling, I mean, I'm not going to have them in biggest losers much anymore because they're going to become irrelevant. But I thought that was just one to alleviate a lot of the pressure, go finally win a game, and they could. They're in big trouble.
I like that because it would have been easy to go with the 49ers or the Eagles.
It doesn't mean that much in
that regard. But when you look at Bill Belichick versus Josh McDaniels, that storyline in it, the fact that the Raiders played the entire second half with Brian Hoyer as their quarterback, and you still saw an offense that struggled. With Mac Jones, that early interception was just a disaster. Like he just makes a boneheaded play every week. And then to be in the point where you come back and you think that you can make a big play, and it's not there, and it just shows the glaring lack of playmakers available in that offense. And that falls back on the shoulders of Bill Belichick, who is in control of this roster. And 1-5. 1-5 for the Patriots. Even if you don't think that they're championship contenders because Tom Brady has left town, you don't think the New England Patriots are going to be 1-5.
I don't know where they're getting wins. Right? I mean, here come the Bills and the Dolphins the next 2 weeks. Here come the Bills and the Dolphins the next 2 weeks. Where are they winning? If I asked you right now, this is a good red zone question. Who's going to get the first overall pick? Okay? Here's your contenders right now. Your 1-win teams, and we got a lot of 1-win teams. I mean, we don't have a lot, but we've got more than you would think. Carolina doesn't have a win. Arizona, the Giants, Denver, and New England all have 1. Doesn't Chicago only have 1? Where we got Chicago? Yeah, it's Chicago, the Giants, Arizona, Denver, New England with 1. And I mean, we got a dogfight for that first pick. And when Chicago could get number 1 and 2 because they have Carolinas. Chicago could have first and second overall. Who's your favorite for number 1 overall pick? Where are the Panthers going to win a game? Here come they get the Texans, the Colts, the Bears the next.
And you got 2 cracks at it. The Bears are in a good position.
Yeah.
Be drafting Caleb Williams. And we got a long time. We got a lot of time before the NFL draft. And it's already starting. Mm-hmm. The stories, there's a franchise. I believe Drake May is the number 1 quarterback, and they would draft Drake May over Caleb Williams. This one's easy. He is the best quarterback in college football. If he is there, he's the number 1 overall pick.
What if you have 1 and 2? I know you wouldn't do it. Would you get more for trading your pick beforehand or drafting them both and then trading one? And you can trade Justin Fields. Right? If you're the Bears, right? They got a lot of.
It's a unprecedented place to be if you have the top 2 picks in a draft.
I mean,
I don't think it's. I would draft Caleb Williams, and I would trade number 2.
Yeah, I think that's right.
I wouldn't pull. I wouldn't do what the Texans did.
I think that's right.
This year, necessarily go C.J. Stroud and then trade and then do a Will Anderson. Like that is a way to restack your franchise.
I don't know who's the best defensive player coming out of the draft. I haven't looked that deep at it yet. But if there's a guy that makes a difference, I would look at that too. All right, so that's what I got. You can respond to all that. And if you got different feelings, I love the way you think. I want to hear from that as well. If you want to get in on the baseball playoffs last night, American League Championship Series, Rangers are up 1-0 on the Astros. They win 2-0 or 2-0 or 2-0 last night. And then I got a Jason email. Oh, you think you might pile on the Lobos a little bit? 505-246-0610. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610. The sports animal. You're home for Sunday night and Monday night and Thursday night. Is tonight one of those nights? Oh yeah, Cowboys and Chargers tonight on the sports animal.
This New Mexican is headed to London.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
Surprisingly great rates? Contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
View Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit HansWhitlerAuto.com.
Here at Clark's Pets, we understand your pets. We take meticulous time to find out more about them. Dig deep into their world to understand their needs. We do research for knowledge of each pet, so you can trust Clark's Pets to provide you the best products and service for your pets, because we work hard to understand all of their needs. Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking.
Week-to-week league, boys and girls. Week-to-week league. Our friend Marty is the first one who's told us that years ago, DC. Years ago, he's like, well, guys, it's a week-to-week league. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. And that's why you watch it. That's why you get frustrated. That's why you lose money on it. Right? I mean, that's how that goes. All right, college football this week. I-10 rivalry. Or the Battle of I-10. New Mexico State will be at UTEP. Big game for the Aggies. If they win, they go to 5-3 and 3-1 in league play. They play the Miners on Wednesday night down in El Paso at the Sun Bowl. Jason's in on the email, Jeff at sportsanimалabq.com, JJ at sportsanimалabq.com. So good morning, OD. It's called Bizarro World. Good morning, OD. As I step to the podium and tender my apology for my last failed email, I take accountability. I'm going to step out of this for a second. Jason is a Hall of Fame emailer, right? I don't even remember what his last one was. I just thought, we all thought it kind of came up, right?
Just taking some shots at in-state recruiting.
Oh, that's what it was. Look, if you do things a bunch, something's going to be the best, something's going to be the not best, right? That doesn't mean it's horrible. It just, he missed last time, and he's owning it. So he says, as I step to the podium and tender my apology for my last failed email, I take accountability. I decided to do my penance by going out to University Stadium to watch Lobo football. I am, after all, a new resident of the 505. I was struck by a couple of things. The sparse crowd. Lobo fan bangs on Aggie for attendance regularly. And more interesting to me, Lobo football is looking like Aggie football during the Doug Martin era. Hear me out. The offense is fine. Well, at least for a half. Maybe 3/4. In fact, they have some dudes. Bill is a stud. Hopkins is nice. Washington and Hickson can make plays, but the defense, is a rough watch. I did some digging, and there are some the more you know stats, a Saturday morning cartoon reference. Lobo football in 6 games has 21 tackles for loss and 6 sacks, which means that a lot of quarterbacks have time to pick apart a young secondary, and teams are not playing behind the chains very often. Just as a good O-line is a young quarterback's friend, a great front seven is a great friend to a young secondary. I may have played DB in my day, so my question is, why is the D-line and front seven escaping scrutiny? I don't know, but it is a question. This weekend's watch is reminiscent of Aggie football of days past. Passable offense and a very unphysical defense, but that's my Crimson opinion. I'm just waiting for Danny to say you have to score 30 points a game to win in mid-major football. Gearing up for the I-10 rivalry and a big game towards bowl eligibility, Crimson Elite, Jason. JJ, I would tell you the front seven's getting a lot of the blame here. And we talked early today.
It's all of them. It's you can say one thing and people are like, what about over here? Yeah, it's the defense. Because when you're not getting pressure, you're not getting quarterback hurries, sacks, TFL, everything that was just laid out there, your struggling secondary is on that much more of an island. And it looks bad.
Well,
for everyone.
All right. So this was not a game where the quarterback, in this case, Chevin Cordero, sat back and picked you apart. It just wasn't. He went deep one time. He threw 17 times. He was 8 of 17. And he had the one pass that went over the top to Nick Nash late. Yeah, he had 272 yards, but a bunch of those were catch and runs. Quali Conley, the running back, had a 61-yard catch and run in the fourth quarter. Kyrie Robinson had a 55-yard catch and run on the first play of the second half. So that is 111 yards out of his 272. He only threw the ball 8 freaking times. So your front seven not getting pressure on the quarterback, dude, they didn't throw the ball that much. Now, you're right. You didn't get at him. But your issue was you could not stop the
line
run.
of scrimmage.
They were the holes that Robinson was running through were enormous. He wasn't getting touched very often until 5 yards deep past the line of scrimmage, if he was getting touched at all. So, yeah, the front seven's got to take a hit on that. I mean, Jason, you're not wrong. But, I'll argue with you on, is it all about letting the quarterback pick you apart? Hell, this quarterback didn't pick you apart. He didn't. Their running game bludgeoned you. That was a word that Ned kept using on the postgame show. As I was, Ned James, the former quarterback who was on with JJ, as I was leaving the place and listening to you guys, they were talking about, Ned kept saying bludgeoned. And I'm like, oh. I watched a lot of the game. So when I know they're going to run, I tend to call the game through the binoculars. Does that make sense? Because you can see the holes. And then, when they're going to pass, and sometimes I'll drop them. When he drops back, I can see the whole field. But watching the game through the binoculars, you could just see the holes. They didn't do anything fancy. Now, here comes a team in Hawaii that's going to throw it. Brandon Shager threw the ball 47 times for the Rainbow Warriors the other night. Now you're going to see something a little different. Now, I mean, to Jason's point, now you may see a quarterback who tries to pick you apart. Rudy, how you feeling about this whole thing? You're on the Sports Animal. Good morning, Rudy.
Well, I've had better weekends, that's for sure.
I imagine Michigan won.
Yeah, that was the good part, and I guess people always try to take that away from me, and they're like, "Well, are you a Lobo fan or a Michigan fan? Can you be both?"
You got 2 degrees, don't you?
Yeah. Well, so yeah, we've seen this before, and yeah, the knives are out, and yeah, people want to call for Danny's head, and at the same time, it was 17-14 at the half, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it was 52-24 when they were done. Yeah,
right. So what's going on in the locker room in the second half that this team? It's like a switch, and you see this. UNM's not the only team with this issue. You see it all weekend if you're watching on football. But it's leadership, and it's the players getting together and walking up and down the bench saying, "Come on, come on, come on." Instead, they just kind of sat there and let it happen. And when you're building a program and when you're starting over again, like UNM started over again this year, sometimes you have to have this adversity. What I want to know and what I want to see is what are these guys going to do about it? If they really like Danny as their coach, they're not showing it. And that's the other thing. And I wouldn't have made any players available after that either, because that second half was not acceptable. And I don't think there's any player on the team that thinks it is, but if they do, those are the guys that need to leave.
All right, so what are you saying? I'm not really. So you're saying it's on the players, right? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, this is totally on the players.
Yeah.
The same players that made those plays in the first half decided in the second half, for whatever reason, to go away from the coaching and what they've been coached to do and how they're supposed to meet those things, and instead they just did their own thing.
Got it.
And you could see that. And then it turned on those 2 really horrible calls, but horrible calls happen to all teams, don't they? And so you have to react the right way. And again, it's leadership, and I don't know. I mean, I really think it's time for Dylan Hopkins to take this team. He's the only one with that experience and just become more of a leader. And I think, you kind of feel that process out when you're brand new, but their season is on the brink, and Hawaii's going to come in and they're going to throw it 45, 50 times. So it's time to work on your blitz package, and it's time to work on your man-to-man defense.
Appreciate you, Rudy. Thanks.
Sure thing.
All right, later. The blame's got to go everywhere, doesn't it?
Yes. There's no one that's not. Everyone needs to take accountability.
Yeah, I think it goes everywhere. I mean, and the coaches aren't running for it. Danny said we got to coach him better. He said during the week, he he said, we got to do something different because whatever we're doing isn't working, right? I don't know that you can absolve anybody. Look, everybody's got to stand up and take it. And I agree with you. I tell you all the time. Players make plays, right? We had the caller earlier who said they're an undisciplined team. Look, 15 penalties is not acceptable. You just can't. Dead ball penalties. I've been in practice. You've been in practice. They coach them. He said it's lack of concentration, and I don't totally disagree. A tackle, a guard moves. Is it whose fault? I mean, honestly, whose fault is it when a guy jumps? You know the snap count. Whose fault is that? Now, the coach is responsible for everything. I'm not absolving the coach for blame. Coach is responsible for everything. They got to be better prepared.
Well, that's on the players.
But at what point is there individual accountability?
In the game, at practice, they benched Stafford in that game.
Yep.
Like, so they're doing, like, coaches are making decisions in a game, trying to hold players accountable. They still look down and 15 penalties.
And penalties killed you, man. Just killed you. They keep drives alive. They bury you in your, they deal with field position. They change momentum. Keep your head down. Yeah. 505-246-0610. 888-922-0610. Your emails are coming in this morning. Jeff at sportsanimalabq.com. JJ at sportsanimalabq.com. All right, kind of a ho-hum one for the Dolphins. We didn't spend a lot of time on that one. We can hit the Dolphins and how good they looked. And is Houston a legitimate playoff contender? Weren't they one of those teams you had kind of at the bottom, maybe going to get the first pick again? They look a whole lot different what DeMeco Ryans and that coaching staff has done. It's coming up next on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal, your home for Sunday night and Monday night and Thursday night football. Hey, how's your car looking? I know. Mine too. It's time for me to call On the Spot Automotive Detailing, and I'm going to suggest you do it as well. Here we go into fall, and you're going to get weather, you're going to get mud, you're going to get your car cleaned up. Get it detailed by On the Spot Automotive Detailing. What do? Well, they come out to your place, wherever it is you're comfortable, wherever it is it's convenient, whenever it is you have time, and they detail your vehicle. That means inside and outside. Ask them about scratch removal, paint correction, ceramic coating, all these great things that they do to protect your investment. And it's one of the biggest investments you've got is your vehicle. They do it at your convenience. I tell people all the time, they came out to my office while I was busy. They were outside doing this. Really? Yes. Remember the day you took it off the lot? How fun it was? How cool it was to get into your car? You can have that experience in this vehicle. Call On the Spot Automotive Detailing and have them detail your vehicle. The number's 505-859-2859. 505-859-2859. Or you can go online at otsdetailing.com.
This New Mexican is headed to London.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us, and my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
It was, I mean, how could you not? Saturday Night Live was back this weekend, and never mind that Kelsey and Taylor were on there. You got a little of this.
Time in the house, you know what I'm saying? We just keep winning, man. Every game, every minute, we winning at life.
Yeah. Well, you're also 4-3, so you have lost a few.
Colin, look at me, man. What about me makes you think that I care about what you think about me? Huh? You don't understand that my team has it all, man. Coaching, genius.
It's so good.
Offense, explosive. Defense.
Yeah, but you lost 3 games.
It's a complete package, man.
Yeah. Well, millions of people are watching your games. You've obviously turned the program around.
It was good. It was boy. They hit Theon and they hit it good. It was something else. Who do they get this week? Is that going to be a loss that they rue?
Oh yes, it will be.
They're 4-3. They still have to play, and that was one of those where not only were they going to win, they had it won. They're 1-3 in league. UCLA, Oregon State, Stanford, Washington State, and Utah. There are 2 wins on there.
Not for the way that they play.
UCLA, Oregon State, Arizona, Washington State, and Utah. I mean, dang. All right, 505-246-0610. Grady, you're on the Sports Animal. What's up, Grady?
College football analyzers of the OD and the AM. What's happening?
Life's grooving. What's happening?
Oh, well, speaking of one of the teams you just mentioned, Arizona, I was going to kind of parallel that with maybe what's happening here in Lobo Land. I'm fortunate enough, blessed enough to have degrees from both schools.
Look at you.
So I can say I am a Wildcat and a Lobo. And
a Lobo cat.
I'm kind of like Travis as far as with Coach Gonzalez. Now, I'm not here calling for his head, anything like that. However, unfortunately, he does find himself now in that position of being on the absolute hot seat. And whether, COVID, all these things are legit, valid reasons, in my opinion. They're not excuses. But sometimes it doesn't matter how you get there, you're there. And with Coach Gonzalez, when his first name was first floated around, it was, quote-unquote, the ideal pick. Wow, he's from here, he played here. All these things that made him the perfect candidate, and it just hasn't worked out so far. And I can tell you, as an Arizona fan, you hear, oh, Rich Rodriguez, oh, yes, that's great, he's got great experience. Well, okay, not so much. Kevin Sumlin, are you kidding me? That's great. And, well, those ideal perfect matches really weren't that perfect. And then you get a guy, Jedd Fisch. Who's that? and then all of a sudden, you start to see some changes. You start to see some significant gains. And so what I'm getting at is, I hate to say it, maybe the ideal match in Coach Gonzalez isn't necessarily the ideal match. It was ideal on paper, and folks that are calling for his head, etc. I'm not one of those guys. Well, then who? Versus, you know what? There might be someone out there that we don't know about that might be a better fit in this environment, and it's unfortunate, but I think we really kind of start having to look at him. And I say we, folks of us that like Coach Gonzalez, that want him to succeed, and unfortunately are reading the tea leaves. Some of us might need to realize that it might be time to think about cutting bait.
Well, you hear it a lot. A lot of people, it's not being whispered anymore, right? It's being yelled in a lot of places.
Right. And again, I'm with you. I've met him a couple times out in the wild, It seems like a really good dude.
Great dude.
And all the stories and about him in the community, all these things. I mean, I love it. But just like you said, ultimately it's about the W's, and man, they're just not coming through. And maybe this environment, this post-COVID, this NIL, this transfer portal, all these things, maybe his formula just isn't quite right to unlocking the success that this program, I think, can happen. Again, because I go back to Arizona and I realize they're in a different conference, but you talk about mediocre and also ran in football for decades, and now all of a sudden, you know, there might be some light at the end of the tunnel with a guy that no one really ever heard of.
Appreciate the perspective, Grady. Thank you.
Appreciate the time.
Later. I mean, look, there's not a lot of better guys than Danny. And I'll die on this mountain, but I think he's done everything right except for win.
And I think the majority of people see that. Yeah. Like, you want a person like Danny Gonzalez that cares not just about the football program, but about the community. He does that. He's a good guy. He's made changes. You know, he had to make a change offensively, and he did. But unfortunately, when you make the change offensively, you got to keep up your end of the deal, and that's his defense. And they have struggled this year.
Fred, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Hi, Fred.
Hey, guys. Hey, I heard this one guy a while back talk about, a while back today, he talked about losing Rocky Long was just really a big loss. And, excuse me. And anyway, I was kind of surprised Rocky left, and I'm sure all you guys did too. And I think he just wanted to go against some big boys, you know, play in the ACC and see what he can do. And I don't know if you've noticed what he did his first 3 games in the ACC. He lost to Clemson 31-14. He lost to North Carolina 40-7, and he lost to Florida State 41-3. And I bet he has second guesses of why, you know, leaving like that, because I don't know if that just surprised the heck out of me. And then I want to talk about the Lobos and the penalties. You know, we've now moved up to number 2 in the country in penalties. We have 9.83 penalties for the season. That's number 2. The funny thing is, number 1 is Deion Sanders, Colorado Buffaloes. They're at 10.2. I thought that was kind of funny, and that's all I was really calling about. I tell you about Danny, though. I don't see how we can get rid of him yet. I think we got to really wait till the assistant, the offensive coordinator, has a 2-year contract. I just can't see, you know, if they get rid of Danny, then what are they going to do with the offensive coordinator? And I don't even know if
it's a lot of money
to get rid of Danny.
You're right. Fred, I appreciate the phone call. It's one of those situations, though. You can't just crush it. You have to understand the frustration of fans when they have not watched this team beat a conference opponent at home since 2017. When they've watched the Lobos lose 14 straight Mountain West Conference games. Like, there's the business side of it, which is it even possible for a university like New Mexico with the financials involved to move on from a coach? And then there's also just acknowledging the fans' frustration. And a game like Saturday, in the second half, it just hurt. Like, it was just hard to watch. Because you know, all right, San Jose State's coming. It was a fluky first half. They only had 19 plays offensively. They're going to create some plays. So how do the Lobos handle that? And they didn't handle that at all. They folded like a house of cards, and that's frustrating. And there's only so much you can keep saying. And if the message is, well, we just can't move on because of money, well, then you're not going to get people to buy tickets moving forward because they have to show you something. And when people have been trying, staying, part of the process, and I want people out there. I'm there. Yes, I work on the radio. I don't want to work on the radio for a team that can't win a conference game. Like, it's frustrating. It hurts. I feel it just like everyone else. I'll be back out there against Hawaii, hoping they can turn their corner, hoping that they can get something done. But you understand the frustration when it gets to a certain point of what are you hoping for as a fan. 505-246-0610 is the phone number. We'll take this break. continue your thoughts, get you in as we wrap it up here on the opening drive on the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride barbecue chicken and ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in boot camp. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you. I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action.
Sports Animal. Hi, Marty.
Hey, guys. Tough conversation, I think, after Saturday. Seems like we've had this conversation so many times after. It always seems to be like that fifth, sixth game. And that's pretty consistent because I think that's where you find out more about football teams, right? Early on, these guys don't. I mean, college you certainly get more time, but NFL you certainly don't get a lot of preseason. They don't play a lot, so you find out more after September. But I mean, it seems like Hopkins has regressed. Obviously, he missed on some passes. I felt in the first quarter, ball was late. Maybe the read was late. Guy was open. Receivers were open, but. I think you've got to, if you're Coach Gonzalez, you're sort of in survival mode, in my opinion. I know he still has the support of the AD, but internally you got to look at yourself if you're Coach Gonzalez, and I'm sure he does, and say, I've got to do something to really turn this around. I'm running out of time here. I'm not saying that's, because fire the coach is always an easy thing, but you got to shake it up a little bit. I think this is the time. You got an opponent coming up that maybe that's a good opponent to shake it up a little bit. Mm-hmm. Quarterback change? I would think so. So you
think this is a Dylan Hopkins issue? You want to see Dampier? Is that what you want to see?
Yeah, I do. I think you just got to shake it up. You got to ignite the offense. Now the offense hadn't been the problem, the defense hadn't been the problem, but you also in that second half the offense is nowhere to be seen. Turnovers, couldn't move the ball, tons of pre-snap penalties. I mean, that's all on the offense, right? That's nothing the defense did. So if you don't help your defense offensively, this is what happens.
Yeah,
the game gets away from you pretty quick.
Yeah, no, it's got to go. The blame's everywhere, man. It's both sides, but it's
yeah, and it's tough as a fan, right? Because you're out there supporting and so forth. My 9-year-old grandson started crying because he's been a fan since he can remember, 2 or 3 years old. And he started crying. He's like, Papa, I'm never going to see a winning team with this program.
Papa, he's got a few years. He's got a few years left, Papa. He's got a few years.
Oh,
all right, Marty, I'm going to get a few more in.
Yeah, but tough. But I think you have to shake it up a little bit. I never understand either why, and maybe he's hurt, but the likes of Christian Washington, why is he on the bench?
Yeah,
I don't get that.
And they said he hasn't earned time that the guys have played in front of him. He had rough A&M game, but now with the injuries, Henry was hurt, and obviously Dorian Lewis out for the year. You saw him in the last series. All right, I can move. I want to get a few more in, Marty, but I appreciate the call. Thanks. Aaron, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Hi, Aaron.
Hey, thanks for taking the call. Saying that Coach Gonzalez does everything well but win is sort of like saying Dion does everything well but serve pizza. So, I go there for the pizza. And then, responding to Rudy's call, about the players, if these guys can't tackle, the question is, why did you recruit people who can't tackle? And the second question is, why aren't you teaching them how to tackle? And then third, this is the third straight year we're going to have a senior quarterback that is transferred in, going to play 1 year, and we're going to be right back in this same situation again next year, searching for another quarterback. So these are all coaching questions, and I like, same thing, same broken record everybody else says. What Danny Gonzalez says is good when he's on with you. When he's on with the guys, and it's personable. But the fact is, it's just not working. And I think that's something that he needs to, and I think we all need to take a strong look in the mirror.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. On the quarterback thing, yeah, it's a trend that they've gotten into. I think their quarterback for next year is here.
And that's one where you give Devin Dampier more and more snaps because at this point in time, Dylan Hopkins hasn't done enough to earn that he's untouchable. Yeah. You get a little Russell Wilson vibe. It feels like he's looking for the contact now as opposed to being confident throwing football downfield.
Yeah, and saying what I said, I'm not absolving anybody of any blame. Like the head coach and the coaching staff have to take the hit. Yeah, and I understand what you're saying. Yeah, they've got to take the hit. It's their program, and you needed to see the progress this year. And right now, I know that you're not, and that's where this frustration, where these conversations are going. I get it. Ken, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal.
Good morning. I think it's pretty obvious that not every coordinator can run a program, a D1 program. Again, like everybody else, Gonzalez is an amazing, articulate man. You speak to him, and you feel like you could run through a wall for this guy. That makes him a wonderful coordinator. But actually run a program, he is proving by his wins and losses and the lack of tackling, the lack of discipline for penalties, lack of offense, lack of defense, lack of fan base, lack of everything, that not everybody's meant to be a D1 head coach. And he's proving right now that he is going to be a wonderful coordinator somewhere at his next job, but to actually get that head coaching job somewhere else, that's probably not in the cards for him because there are so many problems with this program that it's not just one thing. And then he says, we got to do something different. Okay, well, you're 4 years into this thing. Do you have a system? Is there a winning system in place as a head coach that has worked somewhere else? Well, no, he has never been a head coach before, so you can't rely on that. So if you're changing things up in the middle of your fourth year where you have never in the last 3 years won a home game against the Mountain West Conference, you haven't won a game in the last how many games against the Mountain West Conference team? I mean, there is so many things that point towards he's not up for the job. Not everybody could be a CEO. Not everybody could do your job. Not everybody could do my job. Maybe we could be underneath and do something different, but it's proving that he is not a D1 head coach, and that kills me to say because I think he's a wonderful person. So that's where I'm at, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Ken. Howard, you're on the Sports Animal. Good morning, Howard.
Man, I agree with Grady. I agree with that caller. Danny's a great guy, but it just might be time. Now, I'm wondering, is there a financial aspect to this, or the reason that we're kind of dragging our feet on making decisions with Danny? Is there a big buyout? You know, in a tumultuous marriage, sometimes the old saying is it's cheaper to keep her. I don't know, but you know what? I kind of do disagree with your previous caller because nobody's running through any walls right now, guys. Nobody is. And tonight's game must win for the Cowboys. Have a good one, guys.
All right, see you. All right, so I don't anticipate. I mean, are people calling for it now? Is that what you're hearing? Do they want a change made now? They plan in the end of the year? I mean, do you get? I firmly believe that Eddie's going to give Danny the rest of the year to turn this thing around. Do you disagree with that? I don't
disagree with
that. I don't think you're going to see something happen, you know, in the middle of a week somewhere. Look, this last week was really frustrating. And you got a feeling at halftime, okay, they got something kind of figured out. They played competitively at Wyoming against what's a really good football team. They had the week off, and then they're up on San Jose State. And then the second half happened. And there's no sugarcoating. There's no absolving anybody from blame on that. That was the missed tackles were a problem. The penalties were a problem. The struggle, they got 13 yards in the third quarter. That's a problem. And the coaching staff has to take the blame for it. The players have to take blame too. Players make plays. I got the frustration, man. I've been hearing it from people. My phone's been blowing up. I could show you text after text all weekend. And you know, Danny says it all the time. I'm glad they're talking about it because they care. They care. Yeah. And there's a lot of people. Look, it's been a long time now. That there's been some winning around here in football. Right? Was it 2016?
Yes, it was 2016. That was a season where the team was 6-2 in Mountain West play. Went to a bowl game.
9-4 overall, right?
Won a bowl game. Yeah. But since that season, they are 5-44 in Mountain West games.
Lost the last 14. Yeah, I mean the numbers are the numbers. They're you know, there's no running away from them, and that's why you're getting the correspondence you're getting, and I understand it. People are cranky, man. Does Dylan Hopkins have another year of eligibility? Rudy just told me that. I don't believe he's played 4, right? This is his 5th. Is that not right? Tell that poor 9-year-old kid to bail now. If I would have bailed when I was 9, I'd be so much better off, says a Lobo fan. I think it's a Lobo. That's not a Lobo fan. I want to ask somebody, this is an interesting question. Speaking of Rocky's defense, is it hard to prepare for any longer? The 3-3-5. Because so many people are doing it. It's interesting. Thank you to Danny Gonzalez for being with us today. Jim Rome Show is next. The Herd with Colin Coward's after that. 2 Men On is here at 4, and then you get Monday Night Football. Cowboys versus the Chargers. Enjoy that. Adrian, great work. DC? I wasn't even close on that one. I'm just throwing stuff against the wall, seeing what sticks. Great job today. Adrian looks great on the TV side. Big day for you?
Huge day.
Enjoy it. Be good to each other, please. Be kind, loving, caring, and sharing. We'll do this again tomorrow.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in boot camp. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you.
I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Rosendo Najar here, president of Carpenters Local 1319.
Juan Junior Gonzalez, warden of Local 1319. Some people have a misconception about what a carpenter does.
The carpentry trade entails more than just woodworking or building houses. We are responsible for 85% of a construction job site. Everything from the superintendent on down. We have a great apprenticeship program. Information can be found on our website.
These days, it's important to know people and businesses you can trust. There's a lot of places where you can buy a vehicle, but there's only a few local dealerships where you'll find honest people who have your best interests in mind. And Fiesta Kia is one of them. We've been helping our neighbors save money and drive dependable cars for years, and we'd love to help you. With new Kias arriving daily, you'll love our selection and the peace of mind you'll get driving a Kia from Fiesta. So stop by and see us today at Fiesta Kia on Lomas, or just start driving now at fiestakia.com.